filter, just to piss off all my fucking homophobic relatives. Growing more imperative that I control my narratives, so I spit fire through this pop filter. La la, you got to have the Zaza for me to shop with you. Raising my rates and all control fates, but if you fuck with me, I bring your fucking life to a stop quicker. I'm in your throat like some hot liquor, roll through your hood like a drop shipper, enhance like a stock filter. I think if I was straight, then maybe I would pop quicker. Playing the lotto, I'm on the reposado. Can't be in my vicinity if you possessing maybes or fragile masculinity like Boosie tip a baby. It's crazy cause the very clothes you wearing was designed by the same group of people used to trying to keep behind. You ain't worried about the kids, you just use them as a shield to hide behind the bigotry of how you really feel. Ain't no think pieces in emails as long as it's some females that's kissing in the backseat, and you can check my rap sheet. I'm running circles around these washed up rappers like a track meet, reflexing like an athlete. I'm jigging to the backbeat, work selling in the trap meet, and my niggas pack heat, so just to keep it cool before they bust and make your hat leak. And I ain't even really scratched the surface. Defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is like a clown without a circus. That's Damez, he go crazy on the mics and shit. Rolling blunts super straight on the pipes and shit. Fat ass with the fucking tiger stripes and shit. I get faded, grab my pen and then I write some shit about this crazy world we living in. My homies there to giving in, the doors there to kicking in. I never care about fitting in. No, we've been the E-class and motherfuckers speed fast. I caught me a peach pass and reach for my weed stash. All sports teams, but I'm ballin', nigga. Better have a money move if you callin', nigga. It's my time to shine and you know I'm stallin', nigga. Dame's going up, ain't that shit appallin', nigga? And I ain't even really in my prime yet. But I just been grinding like the time said. Mindset on the fucking money, not a bitch though. I can tell you broke, but I ain't never been a snitch though. Came up on cassettes and CDs on the block. I don't smoke no cigarettes, but the trees stay in stock. It's the DAM to the IEN. And if I stand out, nigga, why be in? It's motherfuck the cops and motherfuck the ops. My niggas got good credit, we talking trades and stocks. I'ma always keep it real, that's what I get from my pops. They'll give me a fucking bullet before they give me my props. I got this war in my mind, but I don't know who winning. All this Patron in my body and my head keeps spinning. Yo, how I'ma get to heaven? I mean, if I keep sinning, I swear life would drive you crazy, man. Just keep living. Oh God, I ain't even really scratched the surface. Defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is like a clown without a circus. Dames, and I ain't even really scratched the surface. No, defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is just a clown without a circus. Dames. Hip-hop. This rap shit. Just in me.
What's going on, fam? Hopefully y'all be able to hear me. Turn my mic up some more. There we go. What's going on, Zaya Cat? What's going on? Yes, we is outside digitally. Outside, okay? Let me tell you something about me. And I'm speaking from personal experience, and not only just personal experience, but just what happens when people apply these type of things to their lives. When you love yourself, baby, everything works for your good. Keyword, everything. Even learning from homophobic niggas can work out for my good. Okay? Now, This live is not going to be about it's not going to be about BMU Network this whole entire live, because there is some other queer news, more proof that I have to, of course, give out, and people just skip over it. Motherfuckers not looking at shit, motherfuckers not doing research about shit. They're the ones that are operating purely out of emotion. They are the ones that are overly emotional. Okay? Now, the last live that I did addressed one of BMU's most recent lives where they were speaking about, again, anything emotional, anything feminine equaling sucking dick or riding dick or something involving dick when you have a dick. You get what I'm saying? But what we did in that live was actually respond to the clip that they were responding and giving actual context, greater context and nuance and active listening, because all those individuals just responded emotionally without facts, without information. Okay? So I just did what they did, and no shade, I played the game how they play it. I started talking in my masculine nigga voice, right? When we raise our voice and our voice starts to have power behind it, that's what a man does, right? So now that I did that, I ended up getting this afterwards, because I did my live. I ended up taking the first 2 hours of my live, went on CapCut, found little snippets or whatever, and I tagged them in it. Because again, just because I'm not talking to y'all on y'all platform doesn't mean that I'm not watching y'all. And I have to watch y'all because, one, I'm learning from y'all mistakes, and secondly, y'all are giving me information to continue to build the case that queerphobia is unfortunately still here, very much alive, and just like racism, it's waiting to go from the realm of covert to overt, i.e. Project 2025. So I tagged them in it, and it's funny because when I look at my YouTube shorts, give me 1 second, hold on. When I look at my YouTube shorts, right, there are a total of 9 clips. Some of them I had to break them up in different parts because they were kind of long. They were longer than a minute. The clips where I am actually addressing what the context, the clip they were using for context for their argument, when I responded to that like they did, those videos got 5 views, 7 views, 3 views, 5 views, 6 views, 9 views, 7 views. But one short in particular ended up garnering, and it's so funny, this number. I told you God works in mysterious ways. 420 views, and you know we love us a good 420. And I'm gonna show you that clip. Okay, we're gonna take a look at that clip right now. The clip that triggered them over there on BMU, okay? So with that being said, let me remove, well, I can put this in front of the thumbnail, I think. Let's see, can I? Yes.
I want to see your asses on power plants. I want to see you up on the poles in the middle of the snowstorms. I want to see you doing all the hard work that the men that have come before us that have done, that you guys seem to just simply forget, because it feels better to have men who are more feminine.
All the day long, whether rain or shine, she's the pilot of the assembly line. Dun, 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 dun. Rosie, brr, the riveter. These women been doing this shit. What is you talking about? Women have been on the front line for they niggas, even when they had to roll up their goddamn sleeves. Black and white women. What is you talking about? The reason why the black community is somewhat standing together and holding together is because black women and queer people have done the fucking work that some of you niggas are lazy in doing. Look, y'all really want. This is the part right here that is on my YouTube short that got 420 views, because this was me actually saying to black men, we have a solution as far as the community is concerned to actually objectively and organically see y'all as kings. Here's what I asked them to do. And I'm not the first person to ask them. Better yet, the first black queer person to ask these black men to do this. Okay? Listen to what I said that triggered them niggas. Want to be that nigga? Y'all really want to be seen as kings? Y'all really want to be respected by your peers organically? Go do what the fuck them white people did with that insurrection and do it now. Put your motherfucking life on the line for your goddamn future, nigga. I don't have kids yet. You do. Fuck putting your life on the line for a country that wants you to die for them, that don't mind memorializing your ass when you're dead, cause it's one less nigga to take care of, when you could be out here really making change for your black kids. So when I sent or tagged them in that, okay, I ended up receiving this. And I received this while I was outside doing lawn work, because again, I care about community, okay? And it reads, "Hey, you knocked, I answered. I created a show tonight specifically about your thoughts. See you there. Now you used my content? In return, be there tonight to defend yourself, 8:30 Central Standard Time." Now, if I was really the fag that these individuals believe that I would be, what I could have done is also showed on my Instagram story the link to the StreamYard. So if I really wanted to be petty, if I really wanted to be the low vibrational, mentally ill, degenerate, just agent of chaos that y'all believe that queers are per the Bible, and your ignorant ass pastor and shit who low-key might be sucking the dick on the low, since we're gonna play the assumption games, girl, I'm sorry, I just had to catch myself because I'm just laughing like, wow, for real. Like, and this isn't the first time that this has happened with this type of, now it's time to talk. I've talked to you niggas twice on your platform and left unscathed, and now you want to take this third time around to make up for the two mistakes y'all collectively did? That's why I say, like, some of you niggas don't really have emotional awareness and intelligence, except for Mr. Bennett. Shout out to him. Everything I'm saying about them niggas over there, Mr. Bennett, you are exempt, okay? When I do become a bald man, I hope to become a bald man like you. Amen. Praise the Lord. I told y'all messed up when y'all allowed BubzDaGawd over on the platform, because I was holding y'all to a standard. Y'all say y'all want to build community. Y'all say y'all miss community. Y'all say y'all want everybody to come together under the realm of blackness and find something healthy and monolithic for that. Then the queer people come into the space, and now instead of us trying to build that, we have to defend our experiences and our existence, and this continuously happens. So that night I did not watch the live. After that that Instagram message that was sent to me, I continued doing my lawn work. I came home, I took a shower, okay, and I did my live. I didn't watch the video, but there were certain times where I did go by the platform to see how many people were watching, and at one point they had 400 viewers, which I think is probably the most viewers, or one of the lives that had the most viewers that they've ever had on that platform. And that whole time I thought they were just going off on me, because I was told that this live was going to be like, oh, the live to end all lives, the live that is going to completely shatter everything, to the point to where you had 10 niggas on the panel and some on reserve. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, you got all them niggas for little old me? Now, I don't know if maybe some of you niggas that's in the closet love that gangbang and shit, but I like being with one person and one person only, because I am enough. Getting another motherfucker, that's more than enough. Why do I need all the rest of you niggas? So then I said, okay, on Saturday, I'll have a little bit more free time, and I'm going to sit down and listen to 6 hours worth of commentary. And if they there reading me, roasting me, and I was low-key assuming the worst, they probably took one of the lives of my parents that I have on here and reference to them speaking about having queer children, and they were going to drag my parents, you know, try to find some way to bait me, find some way to make me act out or be over-emotional, so that they can come along and pretend to perform that they're the, what's the word, stoic ones. But when I sat down and watched that live, I realized that quote unquote threat or intimidation tactic was farce, because they talked about everything except the topic at hand. And because that live was like hungry sharks in the water type of live where they're already ready for blood. BMU try to do the beginning part. Y'all, how y'all doing? Y'all good with mental? How y'all mentally doing? Everybody said I'm good, I'm cool. They was ready to attack. They was ready. Even BMU was sitting there rocking back and forth. Now I'm like, okay, sir, is your sugar okay? What's going on? And then there was one person on the panel who we're going to see in this live tonight again, fair use enacted. I told them niggas they can use any of my commentary because I'm going to use theirs. I just don't own it though. Where he said something, and since the sharks are already hungry, that person said something, and unbeknownst to them, they low-key started to draw blood in the water. And then for the 6 hours, for the most part, they attacked this one person. See, they had to do something because the faggot was not gonna be there. Because I already told you niggas, and I will say it again. The only way you gonna get BubzDaGawd over there on that platform to sit on that panel to have audible conversations is that y'all niggas need to be ganged the fuck up like y'all did on that live, 10 squad deep. I need for y'all niggas to create a live about saving little RT, who is a 8-9-year-old black boy who is literally being groomed to become an agent of chaos, and he might possibly end up being a part of Diddy's freak-offs, because you know they be doing the freak-off shit, the gay fag shit over there, right? So shouldn't y'all as men do something that's actually good for the community objectively, as opposed to just fucking talking and try to save this young boy's life? Until y'all do that and do 50 push-ups in succession, I'm not sitting over there. You're gonna have to catch me on a neutral platform if you're trying to have a real time conversation with BubzDaGawd, because I gave y'all 2 chances. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Ain't gonna be no fucking third time. But as I was sitting there listening, they started off asking the question what a real man is, and it was just very interesting to me how the men on the panel couldn't even come to a common agreement to what actually a real man is. That was until Mr. Bennett, again the only objective man on BMU, was brought up on the live and was able to, first of all, collectively and actively hear everybody, and was able to find a gray area or an amalgamation of everybody's thoughts that did make sense, that sounded like, okay, we can build off of this, and brought it all the way together. And still them niggas was like, no. And that's why over here on this platform, we are going to always and forever encourage and salute black men who are, first of all, secure in their own sexuality and know that a gay nigga can't do nothing for them, and that being around queer people doesn't mean that he is gay. He just know who he is. It'd be so funny. Y'all have men of wisdom on that platform and y'all don't even learn from them. But what we're going to do is we're going to get into the live, okay? Again, this is from BMU's latest live, okay? The whole thing about pandering, who's going to be a leader and who's going to pander. And baby, y'all thought y'all was leading, and this is what leading look like. What the fuck does following look like? Oh, never mind, I see it over there too. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into a little bit of the live about how these men are going to discuss what a real man is. Okay, let me go ahead and get my music together and then we will proceed forward. 1 second.
Because I want to make sure I want to let that defrost a little bit before we put it on the grill. But I do want to play this for you guys because we always have an icebreaker before we start, just to heat the conversation up a little bit before we get started. I want you guys to tell me, there was a young lady, I think she was on TikTok today, and she said she had some things to say. And I think that you guys, Trey, I think you're going to love it. But let's go ahead and listen. Here we go.
We hear men scream that they want peace over and over and over again. We blatantly ignore them and do the opposite. It's just sad that we can't let men be men how they want to be men. Or us women are telling men how to be men when we ain't never walked a day in the life of a man.
That was very interesting. Why are they not allowing men to be the men that they want to be? Why not allow men to be who they are, correct? And again, I'm okay with that if that is across the board, but obviously, unfortunately, it's not. Because if that was the case, then that means that you would have to have that same logic when it comes to queer men. Allow queer men and queer people to be who the hell they are. But you don't get to be, and then we can't be. Again, my commentary is trying to help build actual community, actual gray area, a place where we can actually coexist together without it being in a place of tolerating, but in a place of actual love. Especially if you claim to be a Christian. Isn't that one of the goals?
It's just, the shit is starting to get to me. We're starting to be the problem. Yeah, I think we have the men beat, ladies. I think we're the problem. I'm sorry, we are, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Roast me in the comments if you want to.
We'll start with Sharon. I saw your face, so we'll start with you first. What are your thoughts on what the young lady said?
Now listen to what Sharon says. He says something that, no shade, I can definitely agree with, and I think that triggers the people, okay? And I think when he said this, he kind of low-key marked himself as like, oh, you're a target. But listen to what he says.
I think men that usually are good at leading and self-reflecting and improving themselves on a day-to-day basis, they don't get told these crazy things of you're not man enough. It's only the men that are having a hard time with self-reflecting and improving themselves. They get told these things and say you're not a real man. So if a woman is dealing with a man that she gotta constantly tell him that you need to be some kind of better of a man, it's usually because he ain't doing the right things. I would say 8 out of 10 times.
So basically what he's saying is, what he considers to be a real man is an individual who most importantly has self-reflection. Even though that is not exclusive to men, that is something that men can definitely do more of. To look at yourself, to check yourself, not just men, mentally, but check yourself emotionally. Okay? That when you do those things, you don't allow yourself to fall victim to certain situations, because if you were in your emotional side as well and brought that in, you can also build up what is known as the spirit of discernment. That means that even though my dick getting hard and my dick might want to do this, something inside my spirit say no, because if I do it with this person, this might open up a door for of possibilities that I do not want. But then they disregard it and do it anyway, and then feel some type of way when they ignore their gut feeling. Do you get what I'm saying? So basically, men who are doing the fucking work, not just mentally but emotionally, don't have to worry about people saying that they're not quote unquote real men or man enough, or if those things are being said to them, they don't need the affirmations of other people. They know who the hell they are. Okay? But I want you to see how everybody is going to share their interpretation of what they believe.
All right, we'll go to Rick. Ricky, what do you say about what he said versus what the lady said on the video as well?
As far as the video, y'all know how I feel. What's going on in the black community right now is the woman's problem, not ours as men. Right? As far as what Sharon said, I think that's a nice way to look at it. But again, who's dictating what is leadership?
So listen to how they ask these questions. Because when queer people start asking these type of questions that are nuanced, then it's a problem and an issue. But just let's take a listen. Right? So if again, I'm getting real frustrated with these conversations because good is subjective. Evil is subjective. Enough is subjective. Too little is subjective. If people can't agree on a standard, then what's the point? If we cannot come to a baseline of what a good man is and what a good woman is, then what's the point of these conversations? So I feel like the only way to get to that point is we have to start getting to the humanity aspect of it. Because these other men are going to share what their version of a good man is in reference to what the Bible says and what God says about it. There are going to be some men who are saying, well, if you're a good man, you're going to have some money and provide for your family. There are going to be some men that say, well, if you're a good man, you're going to have a strong mindset and you're going to be able to have self-reflection. See how those are kind of like, again, everybody has their own individual way of receiving information. Everybody's not going to look at it the same. The goal is to try to find, again, the gray area. Everybody has a gray area in all of their thoughts that we can link together, because the opposers are using the gray area of fear against us. So we gonna have to use the gray area of facing fear, or faith, shall I say, to combat the fear. So let's take a listen to some of their explanations of what is good, what is this, what makes a man, what makes a man objectively, monolithically. And I mean, if we gonna use y'all logic, y'all told us if you got dick and balls, that makes you a man. So why can't we start there? I mean, ain't that the baseline that y'all use against trans people?
A good man isn't good enough. You should do more, right? A good woman isn't good enough. She should do more. Y'all we constantly reaching for the sky, but ain't nobody got no ladders.
Meanwhile, you got the stars blazing in your background.
So the thing is that if whatever woman I decide to have, I get to decide on what is good for me.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for the woman that I look at as a good woman.
Yeah.
He said it was subjective.
Yeah, it is subjective.
Yeah.
Because again, y'all don't want sexy reds, at least publicly. Y'all don't mind a sexy red hoe behind closed doors. But y'all say y'all don't want sexy reds, y'all don't want no thought ass bitches, y'all don't want anything of the sort. You want good, wholesome, clean cut Holy Ghost in the streets, but a sinner in the sheets ass type of woman. So therefore, you're gonna want a certain type of woman. Y'all not all dating the same type of woman that looks the same, that has the same height, that has the same weight, that's at the same age, that does the same job. Again, it's about finding what works for you individually. And you need individualism first before you can build into community, because the community is made up of individuals. So individuals got to make sure they're good before they can be good to the community. But let's continue further.
But it still has a baseline.
No, it doesn't. It has a baseline. It has a baseline for you.
For you,
right? So let's understand.
I'm pretty sure if we was to all run down a list.
Well, at the same time, y'all all have baselines. It's just y'all baselines are different.
The things that we want for a good woman for our sons, our nephews, we can have a strong baseline that we all agree on.
And I mean, he just basically spoke to what the hell y'all do. Y'all come together and speak against the fags. Y'all come together and speak against everybody else in the queer community. Y'all can have that type of awareness and collectiveness together and baseline together on that. But y'all can't even come to a understanding of what it is for a man as far as heterosexuality, and we supposed to be following y'all?
We do have baselines.
You think that's the truth?
I know that's the truth.
No shade. That's how I be responding, girl. When I know what I'm talking about, I know what I'm talking about, nigga.
It's not though. But anyway,
to you.
So again, let's explore, right?
Not you talking about subjective.
So
while being subjective.
what's the definition of a good man?
So I can answer that question if you can, gentlemen. So Psalms 37:23 says, "The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way." So, in my opinion, a good man is a man who follows God, a man who has self-reflection, a man who is accountable, a man who's honorable, a man who has integrity, right? A man who has recalibrated his value system, removed sex, lust, degeneracy from the top of his value system, replaced it with God, and then you add the subsequent values underneath that, and who's trying to walk in the path of righteousness every single day of his life. In my opinion, that's what a good man is.
Okay. Or we can also look at what Oxford Dictionary says, again, more objectively, that transcends the sexes, okay, and deals with humanity. And there are multiple ones. They have adjectives, noun, adverbs. I'm going to read the adjective. If they find anything else, that's cool. Do you see how subjective this is and how many viewpoints it is to this thing? Just find one that works with you, as long as it's not hurting you or hurting anyone else. But when you read it, it reads, to be desired or approved of. Example, a good quality of life. So a good man is a man who who wants to be desired and approved of, because when you're approved of, it what makes you feel good, and that's the baseline there. What makes a good man? A man that makes you feel good, a man that, again, like Christ said, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. If you treat me good, I will be good to you. It's that simple. Y'all talk about the queer people putting shit up, making y'all confused. Goddamn. No shade if that's the case, and we're learning things through behavior. We learning it from y'all.
Okay, got you, Brownsfield. I appreciate that. So, does that description include money?
So yes. So part of that description includes responsibility and accountability, which also includes provision, protection, and all of those things, right?
Now, see, had that been a conversation, if I was on the platform and they were talking about heterosexuality versus homosexuality, they would be saying that to me, oh, well, you know, you got to be a protector and a provider and bring all these provisions. And all them black men, regardless of their viewpoints on this, when it's just y'all, just them, they would have been shaking and nodding their head in agreement. What's going on, Queen Spicy? They would have done that. Okay, but let's continue.
So if a good man is supposed to provide, right, he has to have money to do that.
Watch how simple this is. Brownville says who?
Says who? What
Says
you mean?
Who? For what you said, you just said those things include that. Who says that?
What I'm saying is the community says that. Society says that.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No,
Because
they don't.
Y'all sit up here and talk about who is the man without money, how to be. Didn't y'all Godfather, girl, I ain't gonna say his name, girl, because I don't want his ass popping up on me. Didn't he talk about one of the qualities of being a high value man is to make sure that you got motherfucking money in your pocket? So then you have society backing that up. Oh, well, he ain't a real man unless he got some money. Oh, he need to be doing this. And then you wonder why and then get mad at the women who play the role along with y'all to be like, well, if you're a real man, you're going to pay for this, and pay for this. You're going to get me this, you're going to get me this. You have the moolah. So despite how these two individuals looked at the situation, money is also a part of provision. You need money, unfortunately, in this society to survive and to thrive in reference to material means. The individual who used the biblical scripture said that what you're saying literally encompasses that. It's just that he's looking at it through the realm of Christianity and you're looking at it through your own realm. It's the same fucking thing, just said differently. Because again, everybody not going to receive it the same way. That's the beauty of diversity. That's the beauty of communication. That's the beauty of community. We all different, but we can come together and make this shit work. It's just that if we're going to come together this time, it's not going to be under the pretense of, oh, well, now we need y'all. Hell no, because if you ain't need me back then, bitch, you definitely ain't going to get me now. When we could take the opportunity now, before shit hits the fan, before we got to be quote unquote pushed and pressured to work together, that we can start doing this shit right the fuck now. While we have a chance. But I mean, hey, I guess niggas like action more so than preparing for it. And you wonder why your baby mama be getting on your goddamn nerves, nigga. Maybe if you were more preemptive.
Oh, no, they don't. They do not.
And God says that as well.
How many of y'all living by God's words?
Wait. Ain't nobody throw their hand up and say me. Ain't nobody do a Holy Ghost shout. Ain't nobody start singing like this motherfucking, my name is Sexual Chocolate ass nigga. Ain't nobody do this shit here.
I know I've been changed. You see that I've been changed.
None of these niggas, girl. Hear that?
You see?
Okay, let me stop, girl. My goddamn dog is looking at me. Shit. Sorry about that. Not y'all not raising your hand, repping for the Lord, girl, but had my faggot ass been on there, girl, the whole Bible, you said you had a pastor on deck who was waiting. Oh, yeah, the nigga, look, that panel was packed, girl. They think they was gonna have BubzDaGawd versus all them niggas, girl. This is not Dog Pound USA. This is not the fuck house. I didn't ask to be here. I didn't come to dance for y'all and that's it or nothing. Okay? Let's continue.
I try to live by God's word every single
So
day.
again, we on subjective, right?
This sounds like something I would say in reference to Christianity. You can do it. You can live that. You can live that. But the reaction, and I'm pretty sure everybody except for probably Mr. Bennett on the panel, would have been more of like, yeah, well, you don't know God. They're either going to say, oh, there are some people who don't even know who God is, so how are you going to be able to have a connection?
It applies to you. Your base, this is the problem. Listen to what I'm saying, fellas.
Ain't none
Let's
of the Christians
simplify
checked
these
him on that.
conversations.
That could be
right?
seen as
this ain't
blasphemous.
personal. This ain't nothing. I'm serious when I had these conversations, right? Again, if everybody's idea of what a good person, a good relationship, a good marriage is subjective to them, there is no baseline. You have a baseline, but as y'all keep saying, like you just said, society and the community has no baseline. We have been divvied up to the point of individualism on all fronts.
And you wanna know why? Because especially in the black fucking community, we have been given an identity that's not even ours. Even when we innately feel stuff on the inside of us that is ancestral, that part that will never leave nor forsake us starts to rise up, there is always a suppression against it. So when the next cycle of resistance or liberation or the opportunity for that to happen comes about, people have to start breaking off from things that they thought they knew. Go through that period of being triggered and dealing with fear and ego deaths and all that stuff to get to a more enlightened place. Because when you start healing yourself individually, you can start going forth in the community knowing how to help other people heal. Keyword, help other people heal. What's going on, Ryan? And Queen Spicy, I don't know if I said hi to y'all yet, but hey. So you need that first. You need something individually for you first. Because at the end of the day, if I die, y'all niggas still live. So, or if y'all die, I still live. Like, we're not all connected as far as that is concerned. As far as one person die, everybody die. Even though y'all believe that's the case with homosexuality. But it seems like, again, why are we getting upset with people who have their own baseline? Why not find your own baseline? That's the beauty of God, source, universe, consciousness. It's infinite. Be glad that there are people in the world doing shit that you don't have to do. Now, as far as the community is concerned, as far as finding something monolithic for blackness or starting off in reference to what a good thing is, how about this? Does it make you feel good? Does it make you feel appreciated? Does it make you feel loved? We all want love at the end of the day. I don't give a fuck how hard and callous some niggas' hearts and feet and toes and shit throwing up Wu-Tang sang, tang, tang, shong signs. No matter what the case is, we all want love, appreciation, affection, admiration, and acceptance at the end of the day. I mean, we could make that the baseline and then build from that. But I mean, hell, I guess that's just me.
But wait, but this is the crazy thing about it. At what point should one's relationship be judged on a baseline? Because at the end of the day, what one person likes or what one person feels is a good person, another person might not. So it is a super subjective situation in which you can't make it a baseline. You can't make it a standard for everyone. That's impossible.
So why y'all trying to make it a standard for queer people to be straight? Why are you making it a point to make sure that your sons don't interact with anything that could possibly be seen queer, even if it's not queer? See, it's so funny that when I'm not in the room and I'm still listening, y'all be telling on yourselves. Because again, I can come around and use y'all clips and say, well, hey, y'all have this level of awareness about being able to understand that everything is super objective, and with it being super objective, it just literally means that, hey, live and let live. But again, when the queer people are inserted into the narrative, and it's Pride Month, so happy Pride. I should have said that in the beginning, but I was trying to go off on this. So are y'all gonna have that same respect for Pride Month? Are you gonna let people just do what the fuck they do, especially if you don't fucking care and it really ain't your business? That's very interesting.
What Vicky's saying.
So you're saying that there's no such thing as good?
No, good is subjective, because good.
Once we put that's what. So
good is subjective.
The word "good," we might as well throw that out the vocabulary.
No, that's not what we're saying. Again, Sharon, you're not listening.
Something that's a good salary. It's no such thing as a good.
Good is subjective.
Good meal.
So hold on, Sharon. Let me help you out. Let me help you out. In New York, hold on. Let me help you out. Wait, hold on. Let me help you out, because good is subjective. So this is how good is subjective. So in Alabama, $80,000 is a good salary. In New York, $80,000 is not a good salary per year because of the price of living. So good is subjective.
Good has a fucking baseline.
No, there's that. It's not a baseline. How is that a baseline when good is good one place but not in another place? How is that a baseline?
Yeah, well, hold on, gentlemen. Let me give you a
no. Wait, hold on. Don't save them. I want to know how is that a baseline?
I'm not trying.
How is that a baseline, Sharon?
I would try to move the.
No, hold on.
So that means that
if
you go to New York, that salary is good, whatever that baseline is.
There's no, it's subjective to where you live at. It's subjective to what you think is good. Good may be good for you, but not good enough for me. And the same thing in a relationship. That's how it goes all the time.
See,
well,
good enough and good.
Can I just say something, brother? Let me just say something, both of you guys. If all of us were asked, so what's good, put 5 items on a piece of paper, we all have different items on that piece.
I'm sorry, y'all. I just be taken aback sometimes because I'd be like, if y'all would have had these type of ways of thinking when it comes to the queer conversation, we probably could have gotten over the hump that unfortunately a lot of us can't get over because we gonna need each other's help to get over that bitch. So now when it comes down to y'all being put under the microscope about what a man is, because now we got to look at y'all job description of what it is. Y'all can't even come to a common ground until Mr. Bennett speaks, of course, shout out to him. Y'all can't find a common ground on that. You talk about queer people being hypocritical. I don't think we can compete with y'all when it comes to being hypocritical.
Piece of paper. So how do we get a baseline out of that? Because you can't say that your 5 items is better than mine. I don't need to say mine.
We're talking about good.
Wait, Sharon, let me just say it. If we all took that experiment right now, we'd have maybe 1 or 2 items that might be the same.
Of course, pussy. Let me show you. I forgot to play this part. Hold on. This the one part where they was talking about the pussy and shit. Hold on. Let me get to it. Where's it at? Hold on. Skip it through it. Here's the thing. Hold on. Let me play this part. No, you a gag. See, you don't want women to have power because in this society, y'all gotta have something to control, and women is that. Y'all talk about women being hoes and sluts and being little sexy reds and shit when y'all create the environment for them to have to do that because again, y'all talk about pussy. Yep. They talked about having a prayer line for pussy. Listen, Lord, I pray right now that you just open up this labia, Lord, and just let this motherfucking man in the boat just rub across my nose, Father God. I just thank you for the warm grip of it, Jesus. I thank you for the ushy, gushy, mussy, glussy, cussy. I'm so glad that coochie pink and the booty hole brown, Father God. I just want to thank you.
The toughest things any man has ever done is turn down a nice piece of willing, steaming ass piece of pussy.
Y'all can do all that. But these women can't do that. Again, a woman brought your ass in the world. Like y'all tell the queers, a female brought you in the world. So I think that if a female can push a whole 6, 7, 8 pound baby out her pussy, I feel like she can practically do almost any goddamn thing. I just wanted to put that clip in there because again, when it comes down, what he was saying what's gonna be on the list, you know, pussy gonna be on the list. It's gonna be number 1, above water and food. Okay.
But for the most part, we'll all have some differences. So how do we say one item is one sheet of paper is more of a baseline than yours? I couldn't say that because your piece of paper is good for your life and mine is good for mine. Wow. So that's what we're talking about. How do we converge on that? We're not monoliths.
So the
relationships with.
But when it comes to the queer people, y'all become monolithic as fuck. Y'all was ganged up tonight. Had I would have been on the panel, the dude probably wouldn't have he probably would have been saved. He probably would have been saved and spared from the goddamn quote unquote weak ass crucifixion that y'all was gonna try to put me through. So the next time y'all start having conversations about queer people, I'ma just keep bringing this clip up and saying, y'all said this. Where's it at for the queers?
Our women will never be the same one to the other. So I think that's where the conversation falls apart, because we shouldn't be trying to fit us into some kind of envelope. It's all subjective on what's good for us.
So the problem is, Pain, is that nobody's talking about whose good is better than the other. Good simply needs to be desired or approved of. That's what the word good means.
I just read that definition. And that's something everybody wants to feel subjectively. Everybody, subjectively. When they get off the lives and they go into their everyday life, they want good things to happen. You want money to come in, right? That's good. You want to be able to bust your nuts. That's good. And I agree with you on that, because I still have a dick. And I know the power. Okay? Some of you niggas on the panel look like y'all love good food and plates of it. You want that? You want good customer service when you go out somewhere. You hope your day at work goes good or goes well. Do you not see how subjectively good is? It's about, again, what you do. But see, like he said in the beginning, that I think kind of started the snowball effect. If you check yourself mentally and emotionally, you ain't got to sit up here trying to figure out what's good for you, because you would know it. And not only would you know it, you would attract what it is that you want and desire and you approve of into your motherfucking life. But in order to be a deliberate co-creator in your life, you have, there is no way around it. And I understand how you niggas felt, because I felt this same way in 2018 when I went through my ego death. Trust me, I understand. But I'm telling you, this is a universal thing, just like death, something that we all have to go through. And I mean, you don't have to go through it, but you can't complain about how your life is if you don't go through it, when the universe is gonna find a way to make you go through it anyway. Just like death. You have a choice, but at the same time, you don't have a choice. So it's just best to make a choice. And why not make the good choice? Doesn't that kind of seem more baseline like? That everybody on the panel and everybody in the comments and everybody listening, whether it's now or whether it be in the replay game, can't we at least agree on that?
Therefore, if I'm in New York and it's a such thing as a desired or approved salary that is for whatever level of life that you want to be, that means it is a baseline for good. Like, words have definition.
It's not, but that's not true, because again, New York is a big state with lots of different places, and so you have upstate New York where it is very inexpensive to live, and then you have the certain boroughs, Manhattan, for example, Brooklyn, that are much more expensive. So again, good for one place is not good for another place, and just because it's good to you in New York does not mean it'd be good to me in New York. That's a fact.
That shows that y'all don't have no comprehension of what words mean.
So you know what's so funny? I just thought about it now. Some of these dudes are sounding like how queer people sound when they talk about what works for you may not work for me. And then this person on the panel is kind of responding like how they would respond about the queer people. The Bible said this, and nature said this, and you had to be sexually abused, and you had to have this shit, and you had to do this. All these things. That's why I be like, again, when you judge other people, especially without emotional awareness, y'all, you are literally having more fingers point back at you. And this is what happens when you make weak ass idle threats towards people. Like y'all gonna actually do something, even though the last 2 times y'all didn't do a damn thing. This is what happens when you lack emotional awareness. You start telling on yourself. You start glitching out on yourself. I don't know everything, and I don't claim to know everything. But one thing that I do know, more so than any of y'all niggas on the panel, at least to my knowledge, is queerness.
Keep going. Now you want to go to comprehension.
It means desired or approved of.
So do we have? So you think that everybody? Hold on. You think that everybody has the same desire or the same? You think everybody has the same desire, or everybody?
It's not about everybody having the same desire to be desired or approved in a specific way. At the end of the day, everybody wants to be approved and desired. How that goes about is again their subjective life. But I just explained this.
He approves of the same thing,
right? You say everybody's this and better this.
Isn't that what a baseline? Wait. You talking about comprehension, but isn't that what a baseline is? The premise is that you want to create a baseline for how everybody. Isn't the baseline cover everybody? Am I wrong, y'all? A black man unfiltered. Am I wrong about that?
That's the point of a baseline, sir.
I thought that's what I thought. I'm slow, right? Because I don't have much comprehension.
A baseline would be a starting point. That's what a baseline would be.
But it covers a standard that covers multiple people.
A standard level of understanding.
But
right. What do you shake your head about? A baseline covers multiple people. It doesn't just cover one person.
My faggot ass don't even reach the baseline according to y'all.
Are y'all serious right now?
This has nothing to do with the topic.
He just. Anyway, go ahead. Y'all got it.
Meanwhile, y'all spent the rest of the live, baby. Y'all was like, well, shit, if we can't circle jerk with the only fag that's here to appreciate it, according to y'all, girl, I guess we'll do it with ourselves.
So
what? Y'all are arguing semantics. What's good? Right. What's good? Who cares?
So this is what I'm saying, right? So when we tackle what the biggest problem in Black society is, right? Which is the absence of the nuclear family. Can we all agree that that's the issue?
Yes.
No, I don't agree on that.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. What do you believe? What do you believe?
That's why I say a baseline is a starting point. That's where you want to start.
Understood.
That's not where I would start.
Understood. Where would you start, Trey?
I would start with fiscal illiteracy. Motherfuckers don't know what to do with their money. Stupid. That's where I would start. You want to fight these battles in this world? It takes cash money. And it's an understanding of what to do with your money, how to invest it, where to invest it, and when to invest it. Nothing changes unless there's money changing hands. We just had a former president get convicted. That's about money.
Hey Trey,
always about money.
Hey Trey,
and shout out to Mr. Bennett just taking everything in, okay? Because again, his response is going to pretty much show again what true, genuine, objective amalgamation looks like of everybody's ideas working together. Because to his point, yes, money is a thing. Money is definitely a thing. We live in this world. This world, unfortunately, is ran by money. Money is known as currency. So you need that. The reason why a lot of people are in oppressed positions now is because they don't have the resources also, or be accountable with the resources that they have and invested in themselves. They will end up doing what we've been doing for the longest time since the 60s and 70s, once Black people started making money to be able to participate in middle class America. We have to sell. We can't treat these niggas like niggas no more. Now maybe when they leave the store we can call them niggas, but until then, we gonna let them come in the store and we gonna let them spend their money, because this is a new money market and you just can't sell the nigga just regular shit. You gotta sell him the best, because niggas ain't used to having shit, so they gotta get the best. And when they get the best, oh my God, I can't wait until I'm the envy of the neighborhood when Jack and Jill come over and see my new centerpiece. And now we just continue that on down the line to now in 2024, niggas still wearing Gucci, Louis, Fendi, and Prada, when these motherfuckers have come out and explicitly said that they don't want your nigga ass wearing this shit, or they'll play around and do some racist shit that y'all will forgive them for afterwards, because the status that comes with that name is more important than the actual genuine moral shit, which means that they're demonizing you. But that's what we do. We will allow these people to demonize us and we'll give them our money. Just like how some homosexuals still go to church nowadays and will tithe after the pastor, preacher, reverend, deacon, doctor came through and called you all types of F to the A to the G to the G to the O to the T to the S's. What's up, Queen Stevie? Make sure y'all hit that like button.
That's a good start.
Well, if it's always about money, then people like Diddy wouldn't be having the problems that they're having because they have plenty of money. So it's
Diddy
not
is
really
having
about
the
money.
problems he's having because of the money issues he tried to play with Ciroc. It is about money.
No, he had no, not necessarily. He has plenty of money.
Is he? I'm not gonna have this conversation.
So
with
at
you.
the
There's
end of
nothing
the day,
that you don't think that you know.
It's at the end of the
It's a
day.
waste of my fucking time.
So wait, hold on. But we're having a conversation.
No,
you
you're
interjected.
having a conversation with yourself.
Well, that's fine. I'll promote my conversation to everybody else but you.
That part, Queen Stevie, they were triggered by your live buzz because they knew everything you were saying was spot on. And I was waiting for the clips. I did the work for them. My live was close to almost 5 hours long. I sat through the first 2 hours of my lives to create these shorts to get y'all to actually study to show thyself approved. If I can sit here and listen to y'all talk to y'all bullshit for hours, why can't y'all do the same thing? Especially if you're trying to build a actual argument against me. If you're not going to make this a community thing and we come to a reconciliation, and you low-key just want it to be a debate or just something hot for the views or whatever, y'all be failing in that. Because again, I was preparing for this live to be completely homophobic, dripping in homophobia. A queer nigga just talk to y'all like he a nigga. A queer person who is 5'2", a leprechaun, done talked like he was 6'6" and was bossing up on you niggas. Come on, Apple Play, whatever the hell that bitch playing down there. I'm gonna have to tell her to hold on because I'm live.
So if fiscal literacy is the baseline, do you think that play how big of a part does that play within the dynamic of the nuclear family between black men and black women? Trey, would you say? You muted, bro.
You muted.
You muted, Trey.
No, we can't hear you, Trey.
You said it's not working.
Girl, that was the Lord telling you to stop wasting your $20 black card membership and get on the treadmill. Because at this point, like Harold said, girl, every time we see you at Planet Fitness, you are doing everything but fitness at that planet. And I'm starting to want to believe that you just go to Planet Fitness for the free pizza parties. Because I know they do pizza parties at Planet Fitness. No judgment zone, right?
You gotta come out.
We got.
Amen.
Look at God. Look at God. Look at God. Look at God. See how people do.
So let's get okay.
I
Let's
wonder
get.
if we all agree that
Look at God.
Let's welcome Mr. Bennett here tonight. Mr. Bennett, what's going on?
Now listen to Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett gonna wrap this up again. When the day does come for me to be bald, cause girl, my granddaddy shit starting to kick in. I'm gonna have to stop saying these bald shit, girl, for my reality to be like that. But no shade, when my bald shit does hit, and hopefully I'll be in my 40s, okay? So I have literally 7 years left almost, okay? I would want to be a bald man like Mr. Bennett, because again, that bald head, when it starts shining, I know that there's some magic happening. I know that objectivity is working. You know, I'd rather do that than be some of the other bald men on the platform.
What's good, gentlemen?
I think we agree that his mic wasn't good just now.
Oh Lord.
What's going on, Mr. Bennett?
So Rick, you want to
Doing well, JT. Salute to the guys, Brownsville, Sharon, Izzy Bands. I don't think I've ever met you guys before, so nice to meet you guys tonight.
Nice to meet you.
Doing well. Thank you.
So go ahead, Rick.
Oh, I
you can
thought
go
he
ahead
was
with your
gonna
question,
speak.
bro.
Oh, I was asking,
My bad.
Mr. Bennett, do you believe Trey believes that fiscal literacy is the most important thing in the black community that needs to be worked on? I believe that it's the disappearance of the nuclear family is the biggest issue within the black community. Right. Which do you believe, sir?
I don't think you can answer.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. He is going to respond. Okay, watch. Y'all listen to Mr. Bennett's response. He basically said, why the fuck are y'all niggas putting periods on this shit when it's really commas? Because it's not just one thing that's affecting the black community. There are multiple things affecting the black community, and we all need to learn how to look at things from multiple angles, which is why sometimes the way that Bubs think ain't going to be the way that y'all think with certain things. But there is a gray area where we can connect on that actually helps the community. I forgot who said it in the House of Dragons, but they said if you're going to slay a dragon, you can't just try to slay it from one angle. You have to get multiple angles. You have to Just like how this system is overwhelming us, we have to overwhelm the system as far as how we're attacking all these things, which is why these lives need to be consistent. They need to be planned months in advance and have that shit done every week. It should be a live on BMU, next week JT, next week Uncle Ruck, next week R-Pain. Next week, there needs to be every week on somebody's live, we continue this conversation, part 3, part 4. It needs to be up to part goddamn 88. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Just like our ancestors did and those before us in the 60s and 70s who came together and poured tireless hours, okay, into trying to make something work collectively and monolithically for black people. Because at the end of the day, just like y'all state, y'all have children. I don't have children yet, so my children are probably going to be younger than y'all children when they come into the world. So I want to make sure that my future children is able to survive and have a good baseline life, which is to be approved and appreciated.
They separate them from another. So it's like a dam that has multiple holes
Bennett,
that you have to plug in.
Yep.
I would certainly say that the economic disparity, certainly in the black community, certainly helps to promote the lack of nuclear family. I think that other ethnic groups, I think, the fact that they're better off fiscally allows them to have families. Even in this country, before World War II, not a lot of people got married because, again, men didn't certainly get married because they didn't have the means. After World War II, when they came back, this country made a major investment in men. The first thing they did, they had all those factory jobs they go back to because all those factories were war factories, so they went back to the factories so they can get employment. Then they came out with the GI Bill so they can go to school and earn money so they can get better, high-paying jobs to support a family. And then they also gave them FHA, which allowed a lot of those military vets to come back and buy a house. So you put those three components together, that allows for the creation, and this is regardless of race, it created a basis for the baby boom generation and for that, for the growth of the middle class. So I think you can't separate the financial aspect from the family aspect. If a man doesn't believe he can support a family, it's going to be very difficult for him to then create a family, or at least the nuclear family that you're talking about. So I think with a lot of these issues, we want to say they're just one issue to go after. I think it's on multiple fronts. You can't separate one from another, especially in these times now. You go back to the cost of living in 1974 versus 2024. It's ridiculous. I mean, a house was like $25. You can get a house for like $25,000 back in 1974. Now that house is like $500,000-$600,000. So money is definitely going to play a role in your ability to stay together, but I don't think it's necessarily isolated though to that, because again, you have other ethnic minorities that are similar economically, like Latinos, for example, but their culture is such where they support larger networks. They support larger families, multi-family homes, and that sort of thing. So I certainly also think there's a mindset within the black community that is, very individualistic. That doesn't allow groups to get together. I got a house right on the corner here. There's like 4 or 5. It's the same house size as mine. There's like 4 or 5 families in there, and they rotate. Like someone goes there, they build up. They doing their manual labor job. They build up, save the money, then they go and they get their own crib at that point.
Exactly. So I do think that it's a blending of individualism and community and connectedness and being collective. And this background kind of loud, girl. Hold on. Sorry, Jesus. But I believe it's a blending of those things. You can still live your individual life, but still be connected, like as far as your family is concerned. Like for me, my parents didn't move to Indiana until like 2021, and I'm used to growing up in a full house. Like we all have our own space, which is like our own universe, our own place, our own dwelling, if you will, but we all understand that we live in the house and we all come together collectively, especially at that time when we were living together. As my financial freedom continues to grow, and evolve, I eventually want to create some sort of space, whether it's a compound or something, a big ass house, I don't know. I wouldn't mind living with my family again, and we all live in the big house. My dream and my goal is to purchase a plot of land, and my parents and my granddad and my uncle is down this way about a half a mile. My sister and her girlfriend is a half a mile. My shit is a half a mile away. We still on the same compound, but we're close. So to Mr. Bennett's point, yeah, we see those communities come together and they're more community oriented. They're all about each other. They're more connected, i.e. the Latino community, i.e. the Muslim community, i.e. the Asian community. And the gag is that those individuals can move into black neighborhoods and continue to make money off of black people. The fucking the motherfucking beauty supply stores are popping. The gas stations are popping. And they come into our neighborhoods and make money off of us. So we have the economic standpoint, which I do believe is important that we need to address when it comes to blackness. The whole nuclear family, because again, I'm not against the nuclear family, because if I'm against the nuclear family, I'm against my family. And I have a strong family unit. I'm just aware to understand that that energy, that love, that frequency transcends sexuality to where I can create that same or even stronger family unit with my partner in the future. It's possible and it will happen. Okay? Because I said it will happen. But then we're going to hear later on how mindset is also a part of it. So now we're starting to peel back the layers, and this shit is so difficult. We can't just do no surface level shit. And if you tired of just doing surface level shit, go smoke you a joint and sit your ass down and ask the universe, God, source, consciousness, the stars, whatever you believe, to ask you to understand so that you can move yourself out the way and allow somebody who actually wants to get this shit fixed, allow them into the equation. It's not going to be just one way of thinking. It's going to take all of us sharing our thoughts, sharing our perspectives, sharing our opinions, which is why I do understand and appreciate and honor free speech, because I'm going to use it too. But again, there has to be some people that are willing to put some time, effort, and energy aside to listen and actively listen and bring all this together. Dr. Nakumbe should have been on this panel. But whenever you have these people on the panel who are able to help be the glue to bring everybody together, y'all demonize their credentials.
So again, and a lot of these homes are multi-generational. We don't want grandma and whatnot in our house. We want to go move out as soon as we can and get our own thing. So I think there's a mindset there, an individualistic mindset that if we could break that could help some of the money situation. But when you have that mindset with the lack of funds, you're gonna have that's gonna put a lot of pressure to try to have a nuclear family with.
Can I ask a question? Is it really lack of funds when we represent the largest consumer base in America? Is that really what the issue is? Is it lack of funds?
I would go back. I got you, man. I would go back to Trey. Then I would go back to Trey then. Because Trey said it's not just having funds. It's how you use and how you spend and invest those funds. Like I said, the fact that we're so individualistic with how we spend our money and what we spend our money on.
Yeah, that's true. We won't come turn your mic, Lord Dependent. It's too drastic. Okay, I'm sorry. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me now? Does that sound better? Let me move my mic closer. I ain't trying to really be in the mic. Fuck y'all eardrums up. That sound better? Testing, 1, 2, 3. We good. Let me try the thing.
It doesn't matter how much you have.
Is that better?
It's like with anybody. It doesn't matter how much you have.
Is that better?
It's how much you keep.
And to his point, that makes sense because like I said earlier, we will go ahead and give money to the Asian community when it comes down to beauty supply, when it comes down to hair. We'll give money to the Muslim community when it comes down to gas stations. We'll go to them, liquor stores, grocery stores, all that type of stuff. We'll do that. We'll go and spend our money on Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada, on all this brand name shit, but then when it comes time to actually invest in blackness or buy things black, we end up holding black people to a higher standard that low-key I feel like it's like, well, I want to give my money to these niggas. You know how niggas is. You're defeating the purpose. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, yes, you have to know what to do with your money and what to invest. Because even though this shit is subjective, that means that you are responsible for your own life. And as we see towards the end of the live, baby, which is going to be a little bit shady because of the way I faded it out, girl, motherfucking Trey and damn, what's his name? I forgot his name. Izzy, I believe. They gonna go back and forth, and Izzy gonna say some shit like, hold on, nigga, I made better choices. We talking about subjective shit. Well, I subjectively made a better choice, nigga. Stocks and bonds. Okay, what did Dame say, girl, in his motherfucking song, Agenda Girl? Motherfuck the ops and motherfuck the cops. My niggas got good credit. We talking trades and stocks.
How much you can grow it. So again, there has to be, to Trey's point, there has to be better stewardship of what we have.
Right.
Be willing to work with others if we don't have much.
Come on.
Pool with those
Others
who are in a similar situation so that
Come
we
on.
can grow something. Have
Come on.
families.
Black queer people.
I was just talking to a friend of mine the other night. He's got two sons about my kids' ages.
So
And I'm like, look, y'all all making money, y'all all making jobs or whatever. Why just stay in one house, or why is everyone looking to move out? Why don't you guys just get a bigger place or invest spots? Nah, they don't want to do that. No one wants to do that. So it's not just about the money. What are you doing with it?
Right.
So you comparing us to the Latino community? Is what
And I get it. Sometimes when we don't really properly understand, instead of saying, okay, my bad, I don't really understand, can you elaborate or give me further examples so I can understand? Instead of us being aware and just saying that, he literally just said something that was completely out of left field. What he was stating is that he said people that are economically like black people, i.e. these other groups of people that come from other countries, girl, they don't have any sort of root here in America. They have not been here for 10, 15, 20 years. They were not born American, can come over here in the same similar situations as people in the motherfucking hood, girl. But because they have a community mindset, they can literally come together monolithically and make it out the hood more so than the niggas who were born in it. He again was saying the problem is that black people, we don't know how to collectively, objectively spend our money where it keeps circulating in black communities, in black hands, creating a black dollar so that we can financially support our own communities. That's what Mr. Bennett was saying, sir. But I guess because they couldn't get a real fag, they had to get an individual who is over emotional that they can interpret as a fag.
No, I just used them
they
as
told
an
his
example
ass
of
up,
how
pause,
other
for
communities
6 hours.
with similar financial.
Damn, and I'm a top. I'd be like, can you slow? You want to take a break or something? I'm the one giving the dick. Do you want a Snickers? You want to take a break? You want some water or something? You know, we can go ahead and we ain't got to just go at it for 6 whole hours straight. You know, we can take a break. You know what I'm saying? My damn hip is starting to motherfucking lock up and shit, and I do want a Twix or something. You don't want nothing, gummy bears, nothing?
How
you
are
don't
they
want
able
smoke
to
or nothing?
overcome and compensate for some of the disparities there?
And is
they
it
do it oftentimes by. I'm sorry?
Is there any other minority community that's doing the same thing?
Well, I think immigrant communities in general generally tend to do that, at least until they get established. I mean, I've seen that with Africans, I've seen it with Caribbean people, I've seen it with Mexican, Indian people, especially when you just get here,
The thing
until
is that
you build that base.
all of those communities financially. So
What's
for
that?
us to follow, we are doing better than all those communities financially. For us to, so we are going to start following a community that's doing worse than us financially. Makes no sense.
Like, well, again, the point I made earlier, it's not about what you have, it's how you spend it. And the fact that those people are able to corporate,
because you as a black person, you can move to the suburbs and individually you good, you doing better than the other niggas. What he is saying is something that can be useful for the black community as a whole. Maybe if we start having conversations more so about what can we do to build and strengthen our families to where we can continue to get ourselves out of this situation, because the powers that be are not going to help us. We've been seeing that for centuries. So we have to start evolving in our mindset. And the one thing, I guess what I'm starting to understand now that I talk about it, when it comes down to blackness, because blackness is so broken, it's like a lot of people don't know what the fuck community really is. Okay? That's the problem. And what Mr. Bennett is saying, that there are certain things that we feel should be implemented in reference to community. Now, as far as procreation, y'all need to slow down on that, because baby, y'all out there busting nuts and shooting out babies. Trust me. It's a motherfucker coming into the world every day. So I don't think the whole population shit is gonna happen with the queer people. So y'all can go ahead and throw that shit out. But queer people can assist the black community. And again, we have before. This is not anything new. Oh Lord, y'all and Keziah and Deshaun, y'all
is
on
how
a
they're
Sunday
able to overcome, even though we may make more.
Sunday
the fact
after
that
dark.
We're going to be spending more of our resources
The Donnie
on
McClurkin
consumerism.
edition.
Then that's going to be something that's going to be a limitation to us.
Telling us to follow a group of men.
I didn't say.
Wait, hold on real quick.
You're missing the point.
If anything, we should be trying to compare ourselves to the top of the top. At least go to at least number 5 on the list, not to the one that's below us.
That's why.
That's how them niggas be signing, girl, when my ass come over there like Mr. Bennett, even though I'm gay, and say my shit, and they just try to find any way to demonize my shit or twist up what I said. I know what I said, you just didn't understand what I said. And now on top of that, you want to compete. He low-key wanted to say, why not compare ourselves to white people? That's what I thought he was going to say. Because you talking about at the top, white people, white men are at the top. And you wonder why a lot of people in the black community say that there are some black men who energetically operate in the same way that white men do. Maybe if y'all put in the work and again develop the mindset, the economic information, okay, and finding someone to build with, whether it be romantic or whether it be family, whether you creating your own family or the family that created you. We need those things in order to grow as a community. And he's just seeing something all the way different.
It's a mistake. That's why it's a mistake to focus on economics
Lord,
first.
Deshaun.
Because first we got to focus on the mindset. And I agree with Ricky. It's a family, a familiar mindset that we have to work on first. Because in order to work together collectively, we have to get rid of those tropes and get rid of those things that ail us as a people. So to focus on the money first is to focus on this. Is to focus on the symptom and not the actual disease or the cause. And to begin with, because like Sharon is saying, black people in America make plenty of money. We represent the largest consumer base in America. So the first thing that we have to address and we have to do first is work on our mindset and work on our family and intact family units. Once we work on our mindset and intact family units, then everything else could come into play, because then we could be like those people and have multiple people in the same place working together.
Now I'm gonna just shut up because they about to go at it, girl. Y'all get y'all kiki. Since y'all want to kiki on the fad's gonna kiki on y'all.
There's very little trust for each other. So how are you gonna be able to cooperate and work with one another if you don't trust each other?
Why would I ever trust somebody who's telling me to work on my mindset and not telling me to get to the money? Doesn't make any sense.
What?
Mindset.
You said don't talk to you.
Mindsets don't pay bills, and mindsets don't put food in people's mouths.
That's not true.
Money does.
That's not true at all.
Money does.
Actually, that's false. You think you know everything, and that's actually false. Because at the end of the day, money is just an idea to begin with. Money is just an idea to begin with. Money is not backed by anything. Money is not backed by anything. Is money backed by gold? That's not true. Is money backed by gold? That's not true. First of all, an idea, that's okay. You attacking, you're doing personal attacks, and that's cool. You're doing personal attacks, and that's cool. But
you
the
have
truth
never
of the matter
fed
is you don't know what you're talking
anybody
about.
with food from your mindset.
Okay.
That's
Now-
a
now-
silly ass
okay.
take. It
So
takes
now you
money
finished?
to put food in people's mouths. It takes money
okay.
to provide shelter. It takes money to buy clothes. It takes money to get a great education, not just a good education or an average education, but a great education is typically paid for.
So what does a person at McDonald's? What does a person at McDonald's make? What does a person at McDonald's make? They make money, sir. Hold on. A person at McDonald's makes money. A person at Walmart makes money. Everybody makes money. But it's not. But what separates a person at McDonald's from a CEO, sir? It's the mindset. So while you're talking and you stay talking, it is absolutely the mindset. What are you talking? It's absolutely the mindset. You're an idiot. You're throwing ad hominem attacks. You're an absolute idiot. You're a fool. You're a fool. You're a fool, and I have better results than you. I have better results than you. All those stocks, and I have better results than you. I absolutely do.
I've been changed. Good Lord, now I've been changed. You see.
Girl, that was me. That was me when I was watching that. Baby, I was getting my life. I said, There we go. So anyway, we're done with them. They created a lie. They was gonna talk about the gay shit, and of course they failed, like every single time they do. Shout out to, again, Mr. Bennett being the only objective man on Black Men Unfiltered. Shout out to him. He will always get a salute from BubzDaGawd over here, okay? Now that shit's out the way, okay, let's get on with more queer news. Okay, now what we're going to read now, what do I want to start with? Let's start with the gays and Trump's girl. Okay, you can look at the description box down below. Again, all the links for everything in this live is going to be there. Okay, and this reads, y'all: gay MAGA man's unhinged meltdown over Donald Trump's convictions goes viral. Many Republicans are not handling Donald Trump's conviction well. A gay man having an absolute meltdown while protesting Donald Trump's conviction on 34 criminal counts in his hush money trial is going viral online. Faggot. You're the faggot. You're the faggot. Get the fuck out of here, the man shouted from a New York City sidewalk at a passerby. The man was wearing a hat that said, "Joe and the hoe gotta go," referring to Vice President Kamala Harris as a hoe, and a t-shirt that read, "I love Donald Trump. You got a problem with that bitch? Gays for Trump." "You're a pussy," he squealed. "Do you hear me? You're a little pussy. Little shrivelly pussy. That's all that you are, is a cunt. You're not even a man." Okay, and instead of me just reading it that way, why don't I go ahead and show y'all? Okay, what the fuck that look like? Give me 1 second. Give me one second. Let's take a look at that, shall we?
Yeah. Go where you belong. Get out. Go where you belong. Get out. Get out. You are counting. Stay away from us. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You gonna vote for a traitor? Get the fuck out of here. Faggot. You're the faggot. You're the faggot. You're the faggot. Get the fuck out of here.
Did y'all hear him say, y'all vote for a traitor? I'd be dying. And not y'all got motherfucking, what's that bitch name, girl? Richard Simmons out here, girl. Going for Trump now, bitch. And you got this coked out nigga who look like he's from the Walking Dead series and shit next to him. It's just very interesting. Let's continue.
Bitch. 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 You have a cunt. You're a little pussy. You're a pussy. You're a pussy. You hear me? You're a little pussy. Yeah. Little shrivelly pussy. That's what you are. That's all you are is a cunt.
Yeah, run.
You're not even a man.
We're gonna eat you. We're gonna eat you and your family
alive.
alive.
I'm so proud of you. Oh, you little bitch. Knock him down. Knock the bitch down.
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of New York City. Pussy. You little pussy. You little pussy. Get the fuck out.
Girl. Not the gays over here doing toxic masculinity, girl. Is this what the femtops sound like, bitch? You're a pussy. You're a little bitch. Yeah. Is that what it sounds like, girl? I am dying, baby. Let's continue reading. A New York jury found Trump guilty on all 34 criminal counts in connection to a scheme to falsify business records regarding hush money payments to his 2016 presidential campaign, made to cover up his alleged extramarital affair with adult video actress Stormy Daniels yesterday. Trump has been running unopposed in the GOP presidential primary since all his major opponents dropped out, and the convention where he will be officially nominated will be held 4 days after his sentencing hearing. Trump may not be imprisoned because the convictions for the non-violent felonies are his first criminal offenses, though he could still face fines, community service, and house arrest. But Republicans are, by and large, not abandoning him. Instead, many of them are turning to conspiracy theories, and falsify statements about the criminal justice system to convince themselves and others that the conviction is a sham, despite the evidence against Trump, girl. So, white people can make an excuse for an individual who is objectively guilty, girl, but all the things that happen to black and brown people through the system is fair and just. Did not tell you motherfuckers, and not just the black ones, but the white ones, this is all the humanity. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Motherfuckers are starting to get some heat towards them because they gave the heat out. This could be a learning lesson, but of course y'all would turn this into a loss. Not the L that we all hope. Now, in more sad news, and this is trigger warning for any of my supporters or listeners who are of the trans experience, okay? So I'm just letting you know, trigger warning now. Darri Moore, as you can see on the screen, a black trans woman cherished by her loved ones, found dead in Missouri. Moore's mother described her daughter as just a lovable child, full of life. This article contains graphic details about the death of a black transgender woman. Darri Moore, a black transgender woman from St. Louis, was found dead along the side of the Mississippi River at, Lord, I'm about to mess this up, in Genevieve, Missouri, earlier this month. She was 23 years old. Workers at Tower Rockstone, a nearby quarry, found Moore's body on May 1st while working near the river, according to CBS affiliate KMOV. Police sources initially reported Moore's death as that of a man wearing a bra, as Fox affiliate KTVI reported in an article that referenced Moore's dead name. Moore's body was severely decomposed, police said, and was only identified through her fingerprints, as she had no wallet or identification and had not been reported missing. According to the Missouri-based Daily Journal, which also identified Moore by her dead name, police estimated that Moore's body had been in the water for up to 2 weeks before she was found. A private pathologist reported found no obvious signs of trauma, and the police spokesperson also told KMOV that they had ruled out foul play. But friends and family have also come forward to dispute the official narrative and demand more information about Moore's death, saying that they don't believe Moore would have taken her own life. She was not by herself. She loved herself too much to walk out on that river, Moore's childhood friend, Izzy Baker, told KMOV, lamenting the lack of answers to the many questions surrounding Moore's death. Somebody knows more, and they're not telling us. I just pray and hope that someone comes forward to tell us what happened, Baker added. She has a story, and I want her story to be heard. St. Louis locals have no shortage of reasons to doubt official law enforcement narratives, especially when it comes to violence against Black and queer people. The St. Louis Police Department made national headlines in December when 2 officers crashed their SUV into the edifice of a riverfront queer bar, then arrested the bar's owners after allegedly beating them. The next hearing in that case is scheduled for June 6th, according to court records. Relations between police and the region's Black community have also been pushed to a breaking point in the 10 years since 2014, when the police shooting of Michael Brown sparked days of protest and a military-scale retaliation from authorities. In additional comments to KTVI, Baker described Moore as a confident person throughout her life, recalling Moore's involvement with St. Louis community organizations like the Metro Trans Umbrella Group and the Community Wellness Project. Moore's mother, Melinda Jones, also described her daughter as just a lovable child, full of life. Jones echoed Baker's opinions that Moore's death was not an accident, saying she can't see her baby just walking into a river. A GoFundMe has been established to support Moore's family with funeral costs, though the fundraiser also misgenders Moore and refers her by her dead name. Members of Moore's trans community have also released statements mourning her death and calling for justice. In a Facebook post earlier this month, Essence, another member of the Community Wellness Project, commemorated Moore as a humble and kind individual whose presence was cherished by those who knew her. The tragic loss of Darri highlights the urgent need to address and end the epidemic of violence against trans people, particularly trans women of color, the organization's Girls Like Us team wrote in the statement, calling on the public to honor Moore's identity despite reports that misgendered her. Our community is built on love, support, and the unwavering belief that everyone deserves to live their life without fear, the Girls Like Us team continued. Darri's life mattered, and we will continue to fight for justice and equality in her name. With that being said, we here at BubzDaGawd sends condolences to Moore's family and send light and love to her energy, and that all of these tragic deaths of Black trans women will not be in vain. And I will continue to be the keeper of my tribe. Okay? Now, what we're going to get into now, for those of you who've been following me on my platform, I have done lives in reference to what's going on in Africa. Okay, we heard about the Kill the Gays bill that has been enacted in Uganda, that there are people now in South Africa who are afraid of that now trickling down to the southern part of Africa, because South Africa, again, was one of the first countries to legalize same-sex marriage, and now the onslaught or the backlash is now happening over there. And we're going to listen to individuals who had to, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we'll see in the video, end up going to Kenya to find some sense of relief, but still having to sleep with one eye open because that ideology is starting to grow throughout Africa, both North and South Africa. And then we're also going to get into a debate, a street debate with Africans in reference to the queer community. Okay, you're going to have heterosexual people, you're going to have queer people, you're going to have Christian people. Basically, the conversations that we're having over here, they're having over there. So I kind of want to use this again to show you that queerphobia is not just an American thing. It's not a white people thing. This is a human thing. This fear thing is a human thing. And that there are people over there who are going through harsher things than we are, at least right now. Because again, if Trump becomes president, there is a possibility that what we're seeing playing out over in Africa can happen here, especially with what's happening in Africa is happening because of Christianity's influence from America. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that together right now. Get these motherfuckers out my shit. Let me move this thumbnail, put this thumbnail actually all the way up here. That'll be better. Let's get into the video.
It's been a year since Uganda enacted one of the world's harshest anti-LGBTQ plus laws. It allows the death penalty for consensual same-sex relations and left people vulnerable to abuse, including torture, rape, and forced eviction. Some Ugandans have fled the country in response. Edith Kamani reports from neighboring Kenya that these refugees are struggling to survive on the other side of the border.
Sula Maweje is a Ugandan who's been living in Kenya since 2016. He was forced to leave his home because he's queer. Life in Kampala proved unbearable for him after the country's parliament passed a law that increased the penalties for some forms of consensual same-sex acts.
Consensual.
Even his family turned on him.
I was brutally beaten by the mobilization, or by my uncle mobilizing people, or saying I'm a disgrace. I remember I woke up on a hospital bed, and from there I was like, Uganda is not home and it's not safe.
Since relocating to Kenya, Sula has made a life for himself here. He works with an organization that helps create safe spaces for other displaced LGBTQ persons in the country. Currently, 9 people, most of them from Uganda, live in the safe house with him. Sula tells me Kenya is their only home now, a reality that's still difficult to accept even after 8 years.
No, Uganda is not home. And it really pains me that something like somewhere that where I am from, I don't regard it as home anymore. I mean, with grace, I hope like people home get to, I mean, everyone gets to feel safe home. Yeah.
Despite feeling more comfortable here, Sula and his friends still have to fear for their lives. Since he's been in Kenya, Sula has actually had to move houses 4 times, fearing violence and harassment. He actually tells me that this week he was attacked on a motorcycle taxi just for being queer. Now, Kenya, like Uganda, also criminalizes homosexuality, but Sula says he feels much safer here.
I would be conscious of using the word safe.
That part.
Kimani is a lawyer working with the queer community.
If you feel that your life is at risk, you run to where you think you're safe, but there is no conviction or guarantee of safety. But the minute you step on Kenyan soil, you're still governed by the law, the sodomy clause in our penal code. You're still governed by the same policemen and the same communities that harbor and internalize fear and hatred for homosexuals.
At the safe house, Champagne, the latest arrival, agrees to speak to us. The transgender woman finally made it to Kenya through support from a donor. She tells me a lot of her queer friends are still experiencing abuse in Uganda, abuse similar to what she suffered at the hands of her family.
Even my mother told me, if I know they arrest you, you're going direct to prison. You're going to die. They're going to kill you from there. Even my biological brother, if you get sick, just request for an injection which just kills you, just take you to Barry just like that.
Eventually, Champagne hopes to move to a country that does not criminalize sexuality or sexual orientation. For now, though, she remains under the care of Sula, who says he is committed to working in Kenya for the displaced in his community. In the safe house, he shows me a gallery of queer people from all over the world, a reminder that they are not alone.
Okay. So y'all just saw that and heard that. The reason why I kind of speak with such passion in my voice is because, again, I give so much. I be doing the homework for heterosexual people to learn. And these individuals don't even go behind me, pause, to even see if what I am sharing is true. They don't care, and that is the issue. They do not care. Y'all see people getting hurt. Y'all see people being fucked with, but you don't care because you understand and you agree to queerphobia. Even when you are silent, that's also being complicit with the queerphobia. That individual moved from Uganda to Kenya and still got attacked for simply being himself. Now, let's get to the debate, okay, with Africans in reference to their perspective of queerness.
This week on the 77% Street Debate.
The question of LGBTI rights in this country has never been a question because there is the penal code that states we are not supposed to exist freely.
Usually when it comes to homophobia, the first thing they'll be like, oh snap, you gay? It's like, so you do what? Like what happens to you?
Very sexualized.
Yes.
Yeah.
We who are in politics would rather live the way we used to live those days, where no one talks about, these things.
The end goal is give us our rights. When we feel safe, you will not hear anything about us.
Oh, let me skip that because I ain't got time, baby. Okay, I think we good here. Okay, we not good, girl. Okay, here we go.
27% Street Debate. And today we're going to be discussing the rights or lack thereof of the LGBTQI community here in the country. Out of 64 countries that have outlawed homosexuality or same-sex acts in their countries, nearly half of those are right here in Africa. Kenya is, of course, one of those nations. In spite of these legal barriers, the queer community is still trying to challenge the society to create more space, more access, and more visibility. And our question today is it possible to coexist without discrimination?
That has been the question the whole fucking time. Can we coexist together without discrimination? That's why I told y'all equality across the board. We have options, but some of us is just on whatever y'all own too. So this is not just something that's happening in Black America. Seems like it's happening all over the fucking world, huh?
And I'd like to ask my first question to Po. Now, they are a co-founder of GALC, the Gay and Lesbian Coalition of Kenya, but also a lawyer. So I think with both of those hats, you can sort of paint a picture for us of what the situation is like for the community here in Kenya.
So the law criminalizes some sexual acts, and very generally. And then the law also criminalizes the ways in which that act is performed among its different communities. So same-sex relationships and same-sex sexual acts, but also within straight couples, masturbation, oral sex. So it's anything that's considered unnatural.
Going against the order of nature as it's written. So just to clarify, what is illegal, what is...
So at least they was able to add in head, girl. Because if they're going to follow the thing, especially what the Bible said, especially during the Middle Ages, sodomy is anything that doesn't lead to procreation, i.e. anal sex, i.e. mutual masturbation, i.e. sticking your dick between the thighs of another man. But it's funny, they don't put that in there when it comes down to women, or oral sex. So at least shout out to them down there putting all that shit in there, because if oral sex was illegal, girl, they would be dying right along with the homosexuals.
Criminal, what can you go to jail for?
What you can go to jail for is for being found having the sexual act.
Mm.
What you can go to jail for is being perceived as having had those acts. So a lot of policemen will arrest you, detain you for being perceived LGBTI or being perceived of having a variating sexual orientation or gender identity or expressing it.
So they're criminalizing the sexual act, but they also have the right to literally profile you and see if you fit this narrative. See how slick that is? Or we're going to say that this is against the law, but if you look like you doing that shit, we still have the right to go in and aggressively investigate. And I imagine how a lot of people can get caught up in that shit that can literally fuck their lives up and they're not even doing anything gay.
In a way that is not heterosexual. Okay. But that in the law is not criminalized.
So the simple fact of being queer is you're not going to go to jail for that. But Mary-Liz, we're speaking here in terms of the legal framework, all these big words. What does it actually mean to be queer in Kenya? How does that life look like?
First and foremost, it means being human. And I think the most frustrating thing about the whole concept is that human beings are founded on differences. We are all different. I mean, look at you, look at me.
Give me specific examples.
I came out to my family in 2017. Coming out to my family, I got disowned. And I wouldn't say family per se, I came out to my mother. My mother outed me to all my siblings, and then consequently all of them disowned me, right? And it has been 5 years now. I do not have a family. But also that is what catapults us to a lot of issues that a human being will deal with, because if your family disowned you today, you lose stability. And while the general public likes to look at queer people and sexualize the whole existence of these people, these are people going through same problems that everyone goes through when they go through these circumstances.
Let me hear from the people at the back. I want to introduce you for a second. But does anybody want to share their experiences, either being an ally, being queer, any specifics that they've had to encounter, go through? You look like you want to say something.
I'd say one of the biggest struggles ends up being the loss of social connections, right? You grow up inside of communities, plenty of communities, whether that's your family, whether that's your church, whether that's your classmates, your schoolmates. And at some point, as one becomes inside of their queer journey, you end up losing a lot of these connections. But what I found an important journey in my life has been to seek and search for community and to build it.
Let me bring in Kariuki Ngunjiri. He's a policy analyst with the leading party here in Kenya. And so I think you can speak on the party position, but also the question of when the law says that, sexual acts are criminalized, and yet you don't get access because of how you present, which law then is supposed to protect you against that discrimination?
The beginning of the foundation of this whole discussion, according to the president who is the leader of this country, is based on the African values, norms, cultures and traditions. And of course, largely because our community or our society here in Kenya has, those issues that they consider as a taboo. But the other day, the Supreme Court of Kenya was there to ratify this issue about LGBTQ.
Just for the benefit of our viewers who are not Kenyan, in 2019, the High Court of this country ruled to keep in place the law that now criminalizes homosexuality. But in February of this year, the Supreme Court, which is a higher court, said that it is illegal to prevent these communities from creating foundations and societies that can fight for their rights. This is what you're referring to.
Yes. So what our Christian values and morals.
Christian, that's not even African. Christian is not African. Y'all done took and put y'all ancestors, and you over there on the motherland, and you basically putting motherland in the background for white Jesus.
Have brought to the fore is to open up a conversation on whether the legitimate rights of every Kenyan or every human being to be whatever they wish to be compromises the future of this country and the generation.
And because you've introduced a church, let me introduce Pastor Jem. She's from Mavuno Church. It's a very sort of, I would say, liberal church here in Kenya, very hip, very young. And you have a very interesting viewpoint. Talk to me about this.
So what I see in the Bible is that God had design and context for sexuality. There was the whole concept of marriage is between a man and a woman, and it's within the confines of marriage. And the reasoning behind that is because there's fruitfulness that comes with it. There's a way that men and women are built differently, and so together we become better. We're able to thrive as a society. And so I feel like...
But at the same time, y'all are so worried about bringing the life into the world that y'all deny the life that came into the world, i.e. queer people's existence. Because like y'all say, the queer people ain't having the kids and the children, y'all are. And it's from y'all loins that also produce queer life and queer experiences. But I mean, again, this is from a book that keeps people boxed in, so this is just the level of where they're at. And I mean, I guess that's okay for them. But again, what you think, like we said earlier, it's subjective. If it works for you, that's cool. But this is working for me.
The position is that this is a sin, and sin just basically means that it's an abuse of what you are created to do. But then that doesn't give me the right to shun you.
But of course, not everybody in this country believes that. 80% of the people in this country identify as Christian, and most of them are very conservative, going as far as saying that not only is this a natural, some people calling for violent acts against the queer community. What do you say to them?
It's hard to regulate what people think, but if you call yourself a Christian, then the standard is the Bible, and that Bible doesn't allow me to be violent against another person.
Thank you. I want to hear some reactions from the back. Let me hear from Mwangi, your response to that. The church welcoming everybody. What's your view on that?
I don't think it's wrong, because they are also our children, they are also our brothers and sisters. But the problem, when we are being welcomed to the church, as that community, come well dressed to as the church, the customs, the traditions of the church, be presentable like they do want to be. Don't come identifying yourself this community, also in that church.
So can you give me an example of what would be inappropriate?
Inappropriate, I would think, coming with the colors to the church.
The rainbow?
Yes. I would not,
So I can't even come in with the rainbow that in the Bible God said that was his sign to show that he would not destroy earth anymore. So I can't even come in with one of God's promises on me because of how y'all interpreted it. Damn.
I would not like it.
I can't even come to God as I am without having to go through y'all channels to get to God. Wow.
We want somebody to get Paul's reaction. Paul, let me get your reaction, because you were literally holding your knees in disbelief. Come and tell me what your thoughts are. Tell me what your thoughts are.
It's always so fascinating when people start prescribing what you can and cannot do. Mostly because all of us get to a stage where you start expressing yourself based on who you are, based on what you like.
But isn't it fair to say that if you're coming to, we're speaking here about church, but it could be a mosque, it could be a temple, that you just align with those values of the church, the temple, the mosque?
No, I'm supposed to be aligning with them saying that they can open up or help me to establish a connection with God and then allow me to go forth and build the rest. That's at least what I think church should be. Because again, the church is made up of the community. If I'm not coming, now if it's one thing if I come up there being disruptive, I'm yelling, I'm screaming, I'm running up and down and shit when it ain't time to be slain in the spirit, I'm doing shit like that, that's different. But if a queer person is coming into church and all they happen to have on them is queer colors, but they said, fuck it, I'm still going to go to church because I've been told by my mother, my father, my grandparents, my family members, my friends, that God is in this building. Even though God is in everything, it's particularly in this building. And they go into that space trying to find a connection and hear God's voice. But instead of them hearing God's voice, they hear your motherfucking voice. And how you get to be louder than God's voice and tell them that God is telling me to tell you. No, because if what you were saying were actually of the spirit, I would feel it in my spirit. It would be an affirmation of something. So how about this? If the church wants to have their own standard of being, then you can do that in your church. Just like you tell us to do that shit in our closet, y'all do that in your closet, in your coffin, in your church. Don't try to tell people outside of those things what to do, especially when you can't prove it.
So I really like to give integrity to institutions when they offer me integrity. And the thing
Ooh, that
about
part.
queerness and the rainbow, whether you wear it or not, for me is a non-issue. But what I'm willing to hear is what feeds your irrational fear or hatred for the rainbow itself, because that's just colors put together that appear so naturally, and people have claimed it, yes, but so many other collectives have claimed the rainbow.
Yeah, let me ask for a response. First of all, are you fearful and do you have hatred, or is it also just assumed that if you do not like these practices that you're hateful and fearful?
No, I'm not hateful and fearful.
What is the emotion that you are feeling?
I'm not against you. As you have said, the church is that way. The way you come, dressed, you know what you are portraying. The way the society took it. So already you claim the colors, and then you come that way on the church. On the first day, maybe you can call you, behind it, maybe talk to you, maybe you can say what you want. We talk now, we preach for you, everything. But after that, let me say continuously. Maybe the next Saturday, the next session, you are just they say. So what are you trying to say?
Okay, because Jem is a pastor and she.
So what about the gays who go to church but they don't wear rainbow colors? What's up, Queen Donna? This is in Africa. You know, we doing our big one as far as research, okay, and bringing forth the information and the proof. I believe it's Nigeria, one of them, but again, there are people who go to church who are queer and they don't dress in the colors. So, I mean, I don't know. Queen Stevie said this is dangerous. Gays for Trump. Trying to fit into trying to get some normalcy will never save you from these conservatives. They don't like queer people.
Understands how the structures of the church work. You know, they're very valid points that are being raised, because while you're welcoming the queer community into the church, you also don't want to ostracize the very conservative people. But to what point is what we're being asked here?
We disagree slightly on what he said. So I would not go to the extent of saying, oh, this is how you should dress. I don't want to see colors. I don't want that borders on legalism, and that takes away from what Christianity is. It's not just about a bunch of rules, do's and don'ts. But then I wouldn't expect that you've come one Sunday, you listen to a sermon, oh, now you're transformed, you've changed. Nobody does that.
What is transformation here? Is transformation for you to stop being gay? What is the outcome, intended outcome?
So in the past, we've been hypocritical about this, that it's been more about conforming your behavior to what we think is acceptable. Yet the point of Christianity is to transform people to be more like Christ. And so that means that it's not about just modifying your behavior to make me feel comfortable, to make me feel better. It's about you understanding who you are in God. And so there's fruits that comes out of that. So my job is not to come and tell you, you need to be straight.
So what are the fruits that come out of that, children? Because that's one of the main things that are thrown up against queer people. The procreation thing. Again, you just said it earlier about the whole fruitful aspect of it. I think it would be better for you to just allow people to come into your place and help them to establish a relationship with their Lord and Savior, and then just encourage them to strengthen that, however that's going to look. As long as their life is better, as long as some of the things that they were doing that was objectively destructive, they're not doing anymore. I think that's what that transformation is. When you are employing and walking in love, you start to see things about yourself that maybe you could not see because of the brokenness on the inside, that inspires you to say, you know what, I want to do better for myself. And that better is different for everybody. There are ex-queer people who feel that way, and again, if that is their walk, as long as you find in truth and you're not hurting yourself or anybody else, do the damn thing. So when you say the transfer and the fruits, what are the fruits of that transformation look like? Like, you have to break this down, especially for people who y'all are saying that don't know God, but you do. So you have to break it down. What are these fruits that happen when you are transformed? Because you're saying we're not waiting for a transformation overnight. So what are you waiting? What transformation are you objectively saying needs to be taking place? And And when you ask that question, we really don't get an answer because they low-key already told us in the beginning.
To be a Christian, that's not the thing.
For sure, not all churches believe this. In fact, we had invited some representatives from a more conservative church, but unfortunately they weren't able to make it. Do you have a comment on that?
Oh, yes. Hi, my name is Alvina Gashugu, and I'm an atheist. So personally, I believe the problem started with religion, because you're talking about our traditions. What do you know about our traditions? Our ancestors lived in the spirit of Ubuntu. You know, Ubuntu means togetherness. When we ostracize a particular community, are we really living in togetherness? Is there any love in that? That is just hatred because someone believes different. And just because people are speaking more about it doesn't mean it's happening more. It was happening before. We just didn't have the platform to discuss these things as much. Homosexuality has always been there, even in the animal kingdom. Who taught them?
All right. Simon, my question to you.
Girl, the African cookie tookie got y'all together, bitch. Ishala Kandala.
You as a cisgender man, are you talking about this with fellow men? We know that in this country it can become very vitriolic among men's spaces.
Well, primarily what I would say is that friction between morality, I love it because that means this conversation is shifting within morality is actually changing. You know, it shifts from like one stage to the next. And previously, even I think even way back in the day when our grandparents, there was this thing of like even ladies should not even wear trousers. Now, when it comes to morality in that aspect of
it's interesting you keep using the word morality. Is homosexuality a moral issue?
Now, that's what I wanted to get into. Who defines what's moral within a society? Now that's the thing now, because literally even when you say now, being honest, let's break it down, being honest, even here in Kenya, even when you go, the majority of Kenyans, they define what's moral because their pastor, who's the most influential person within their society, they say, oh, we look up to you, this is what we define as moral. But this is what I mean. Do we live by these morals realistically? How many people, how many pastors actually complain? You come to church every single Sunday, but do you live by these principles in which that we speak of right here behind the pulpit? Shout out to my dad, who's also a pastor. Now the thing is,
hi Dad.
but the thing is, living in, even like when you actually now hold up these moral principles so high and you start saying, we are in, this is how you as a society should live. And then now you start, now that what happens is the people who don't live that way, guess how they feel? All societies pushed away and they see you as an enemy. And hence when you start saying even pastor, even I saw some of you guys start even eyebrowing her, it's like, oh really? And then,
yeah, because again, it's our experiences and it's kind of like you guys are trying to find like a nice way to still tell us no. When we already know y'all answers and y'all are the ones that be very performative. Y'all try to find new ways of thinking that's kind of like, oh my God, that's an aha moment. But there's never any follow through with that. Because if we're going to use this whole era in reference to morality and the Bible, again, we all going to hell then. But see, once we do that again, all of a sudden, when it's them, people start to now have awareness of certain things. And I'm like, okay, if we're going to talk about that awareness, let's stick with that awareness and bring that inclusion into it. But then when we do that, I think the one thing that's missing from that, well, they did say it, which leads to hatred, is fear. People fear what they do not understand, and then they hate what they fear. And what he said was true. A lot of people are going to look up to their pastors and see them as leaders as of, what do you think? When my father was in organized religion and being a staunch Baptist deacon, it was always, what did the pastor say? And pastor said this, and pastor, and what about pastor? Even when I came out, I had to go talk to the pastor and go to a deliverance service with him because my pastor knew the truth. And that's why you have the queer people eyeing you, because it's like saying, it's literally like denouncing the existence and the experiences of queer people in their face. That's the gag. That's why you get in the eyes, because you're literally finding a way, again, with a smile on your face, to say that at the end of the day, I know y'all feel some type of way, but this is what God says, and we're going to need y'all to stop acting so feminine and emotional anyway.
And that I could see that, and I love the fact that we're having this discussion amongst us. And guess what? Even amongst even us guys, most guys, being honest, homophobia is big.
I want to lean into that a little bit. Why do you think, first of all, what's your assessment? Is it prevalent or not? I think it's only fair to ask Marilise.
homophobia has always been prevalent.
Yes.
But you see, abuse is based in silence. And that's what queer people cry for all the time. That now we are saying, we are confident enough to say we are here, we've been here since time immemorial, we've been abused, and the church and all systems in place that perpetrate homophobia founded their power to abuse us by making us keep quiet and not say anything. It takes one person to be killed until all of us are killed for it to become something big, right? But it's after you're killed, that's when I'll be killed. So why would I be hating someone, or why would I want to believe in a system that then tells you keep quiet when your abuse happen, so that we can be cordial about stuff? Cordial about what stuff? The Dalai Lamas of the society?
Let me come back. That's what I'm saying, because again, that system, that society already legalizes forms of queerness. So again, there's already a societal standard that they have that this is a big no-no. And you're not supposed to be doing this. So again, when you sit up here and you bring religion, and that is what I'm talking about. Oh, African values. Christ was in Africa. Christ had Cantu butter all in his hair. Christ... It's kind of like when the overseer on the slave plantation had one slave and gave him the slave Bible, taught him how to preach, give him a certain style to preach or format to follow. Then you go out and preach to those Negroes all of the verses that keeps you submissive, keeps you bound, keeps you quiet, and the scriptures that give you power, give you voice, give you affirmation, give you freedom are removed. So it's so funny that that same type of flow is happening. It's just got a bad 2024 early millennial type of spin to it.
Ngunjiri, because I have a question for you. When Edwin Chiloba died, Edwin Chiloba was a fashion designer who also identified as queer, and he was murdered in a most brutal way. And when the news came to light on Twitter, the level of homophobia was actually scary. Is it too much to ask the government to intervene in those situations and say, yes, we know what the loss is, but surely this is also not acceptable?
Yes, of course, I do agree with you that any human being created by God should never die. But the reason why the president would never support, such is because, number one, as the president of this country, he makes decision on behalf of
everyone.
Yes. The majority of Kenyans understand and do support the president in that position. However, like we say, it is now turning out to be activism. And so when you think about the role of government in all this, majorly, we who are in politics and who are in governance and policy would rather have no law that either criminalizes or supports LGBTQ. Would rather live the way we used to live those days, where no one talks about these things, because the more it is amplified, the more it shifts from now identifying as people who are born that way to a conversation of milking money from the West and all that kind of.
Okay, let's
Even though Christianity is from the West, even though they came through and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in Africa from the West, European white people from America, descendants came, girl, over there to Africa to give y'all the Christian Bible. When the individual beforehand, she stated that we were ancestral, we have forgotten about that. And I see we've forgotten about that, not just over here, but over there too. So she spoke about the homophobia. He didn't address any of the homophobia. He just said, hey, these people just believe this thing the president says, and they're not with that queer shit, so they just let it be known. Now, yes, I don't believe anybody should die, but at the same time, if you die, we not gonna find any justice for your murder. Because again, like he just stated, and that's what he just said is exactly what BMU and them want. get to a place to where we don't have to talk about this shit. But you just had somebody who was queer say earlier that in this experience, if you are queer bashed, that you can't even go to the police or find any sort of justice for the situation that has happened to you, because the majority of people don't even care about you in that way, because you're an abomination, and that's supposed to happen to you. Maybe if you gave your life to Christ, maybe if your ass became heterosexual, you wouldn't have to deal with this. So it's kind of like, again, no matter where we go around the spectrum, as far as you honoring humanity, you're not willing to honor humanity for real in reference to queerness, about it being something that's natural. Because at the end of the day, regardless of how unnatural or weird y'all think, it's weird to y'all because y'all don't know, but the universe has allowed this. We've been here since the beginning of time. Even if you were to do an onslaught and get rid of all queer people, queer life will still find its way into the world and probably still live on from our killers, because our killers are probably repressed homosexuals they goddamn self.
Let's give the people who have raised their hands a chance.
Yeah, thank you very much for highlighting the question of donor aid, because it's important that we're clear. Even the Kenyan government is reliant on donor aid. So every organization that exists as an NGO or an institution that collaborates with other governments, you receive funding. So there is no gay agenda that's funded by donor funding. Let's be clear. On the second thing, I think the question of homophobia is so important for us, because again, I want to use fear, irrational fear and hatred, because when we say homophobia, we make it seem like it's such a far-fetched idea. No. People are afraid because we have not been educated enough about...
What are people fearful of?
I wish I had the answer to that.
They're fearful of things that are different. They're fearful because their religion has told them that if you support this or if you do this, you're going to hell. And who wants to go to hell? You've had people who are queer literally just state that they have been kicked out of their homes. The last fucking video we saw in reference to Africa, when the individual was getting fucked up, excuse me, in Uganda, and then went to Kenya, and then ended up getting attacked again. Which goes back to what the individual said, well, excuse me. Sorry, yo, my throat was kind of itching in the back. That this is now turning into activism. Yeah, it's turning into activism because y'all are not listening. This is what I mean by fear and hatred. Y'all don't want to acknowledge it, but y'all can acknowledge the queer phobia though. And see how y'all walk around it. And that's the thing with oppressed groups that people are getting tired of. Y'all be like, okay, what's the problem? What's the problem? The problem is y'all. Y'all are part of the problem. Y'all fear and biasness is part of the problem. The way that y'all utilize the Bible and faith against queer people is the problem. The way that y'all weaponize queerness against children against queerness is a problem. And hell, the way y'all weaponize queerness with children is a problem. Because even the queer children are getting fucked up, and y'all grew up with queer children too. Y'all had queer youth peers too.
God, and I hope somebody answers that.
Imagination.
Like it's easy. It's like straight up. Even when it comes to guys, it's mostly more or less us guys. Usually when it comes to homophobia, the first thing that we're like, "Oh snap, you gay?" It's like, so you do what to like? What happens to you? Like the wrong opening? Like you go inside your bottom? Is that what you try to do? Like that whole idea, like this can actually happen. Like what are you trying to do with? Yes.
Yeah. Yes, and my thing is, why would you care about that if you're not trying to get sexual? But see, that is something that is also that men do a lot. Because again, did we not just hear them say on BMU, girl, per our pain, one of the hardest things for a man to turn down is a willing piece of steaming hot piece of pussy? So y'all sexualize your own experiences, but because this is a sexual thing that you can't identify with in reference to queerness, or no shade, some of you on the low do, but afraid to acknowledge. Now it's the sexual aspect, not the human aspect, but the sexual aspect. Again, queer people don't even have to grab the dick, pull the dick out, do anything that is explicitly sexual. Just the fact that they are queer, heterosexual people at large decide to take the narrative of, oh, so you're doing it. Who's doing the bending? Why? Do you want to be bent over?
And then that's usually because even now you start thinking that, what can this person do to me? Because you're also a guy and now you're into me at the same time. But then also homophobia comes from this. When you don't understand something, fear comes into play.
Hello, I just
Jem
said
also
that.
wanted to give us a clue as to what else people are fearful of.
I feel like we are judging Gojiri for the position that he's taken, yet I get what he's trying to speak about. When you're the president of the nation, you can't take subjective, a subjective position on something. You represent other people. And so some of the views he has and what he was talking about in terms of advocacy is that the majority still have a say. And it's very hard to make somebody change what they feel about you. And a lot of times the religion is vilified. I don't think religion is responsible for this.
Okay, let me see if she'll explain why.
It's just human beings in general. Human beings in general are the problem that will always find a way to discriminate against each other. Whether it's, listen, whether it's homophobia, it's sexism, it's racism, human beings are human.
So why can't we focus on that aspect? If a motherfucker want to come into the church and they got queer colors on, allow them to come into the church and allow them to get to know God. If they way of being slain in the spirit is motherfucking wet, ow, and do a death drop, let them death drop for Christ, okay? And again, when it's time to be accountable, now we can start being more aware and more objective, and now we can talk about human beings. Okay, all we trying to get you to do is focus on the human being part. If y'all start to affirm queer people and invite queer people into these spaces, you will actually be doing what you say that you want to do. Honor humanity. But you just stated earlier, which was the truth. Unfortunately, the majority rules, and the majority don't want that gay shit, even at the detriment for queer people. It'll be one thing if they had this own type of personal idea from a religious standpoint, but their human side written their spiritual standpoint as far as, okay, I don't do this and this is how I feel spiritually about it. That's been taught to me. Not that I innately feel, but that's been taught to me, because again, religion is indoctrinating y'all to think, again, you're reading a white European religion, nothing black, nothing melanin about it. Okay, let me shut up.
It's very hard to legislate my opinion on something, but when it comes to religion, and this is where I'm speaking on, like in terms of the Bible, it gives us a framework to treat.
There we go. So even though you are a human being, you need a framework, and this is the framework that everybody else taking. And at this point, you're gonna be lost and cold and left out in the rain.
People equally, whether we agree with them or not.
Ooh, there's some fire flames here. Let's hear.
I keep on hearing
Let's
this
hear.
word morality, and I keep on asking, who is morality for? Because as far as I'm concerned, you look at a human being, for example, a Christian, right? That is your belief. Why should your belief be my point of action? You love God. Why should I behave in a godly manner? You don't like gays. Why should I like you for not liking gays? We are so bent on saying this thing, umbrella concept of, morality, moral fabric, and all that kind of stuff. Where do I buy the meters of the fabric, and how can I wear it so that I can look a certain
So this is the thing that I was saying. I think it's important that we educate ourselves, because I want to contest the religion and church being the barometer of anything, because actually Kenya is a secular state, and yes, we have a religious president, but Kenya still remains a sovereign secular state, and all of us have the leeway to become whoever we want to become and practice whichever religion that we want to practice, up to including traditional practices. That said, as LGBTI people, nobody wants to get married. Nobody has asked for same-sex marriage. Nobody has asked to be affirmed in churches. What we are asking for is very plain, that there's so much violence in our communities, and that violence must stop.
So, at the beginning of this debate, we asked a very simple question. Is it possible to coexist without discrimination? Now, you all were giving eyes to Jem when she walked in, and maybe people in Jem's church might give you all eyes when you walk into her church. How do we create more of these spaces within our communities?
Let's do that. And see, if they start coming off with solutions, girl, I'ma really turn the pedal up on these motherfucking red pill spaces, bitch. If these motherfuckers can sit down and have a conversation about how do we get here. But see, this is what happens when you have people who, first of all, know what they're talking about for the most part. And secondly, you have somebody who is a mediator who is able to still be objective enough and not just sit back laughing as the cash apps roll in, because now I done use the shit that I use that's being used on the church to pimp the people, to pimp these fags, and these individuals hating on these fags.
Hear from you. I think it's possible because even before, the way we were saying, women didn't have voting rights. Even like someone brought up saying activism. Why are we talking out about these things? Yet when it comes to religion, if we can just see each other on the same level, let me put it that way, because people have a bit of, is it religious superiority? Because when we remember that even at some point whites and blacks couldn't coexist, there's an important reason for activism, because it's because of this hatred. So if we can just talk more about it and focus more on what we love about each other as humans, because at the end of the day we are humans, and we're born knowing nothing, then all of a sudden some know more or some are more superior. Where do those thoughts come from?
Okay, so using activism and leveraging the humanity within the activism. Some more solutions, please. How do we move forward?
I think the honesty part is very important. Queer people are hated because they're sexualized. But sex is hard everywhere. Do you know the number of strip clubs in Nairobi? Do you know who goes there? Have you been there and seen people? You see people sometimes are like, oh my goodness, I want to die right now because I can't believe this, right? But it becomes a problem when queer people are happy to be expressive about it. And it's not expressive that we are shooting pornographic videos and posting. We're not doing none of that. We're just coming out to say, hi, my name is Mary-Lise Biubwa. I am a lesbian. I have rights. I have a doctor who assaulted me in 2019, and I've talked about his story on social media many times. He's a gynecologist. I go for a pap smear. He asks me about my sexual life, because that's what you answer when you go for anything about your sexual health anyway, right? And I tell him I'm a lesbian, and from there on out, it was no longer a pap smear, it was a man assaulting me and me having to go through that experience.
Wow.
The end goal is give us our rights. When we feel safe, you will not hear anything about us.
All right,
I
so
want to live.
Honesty. Okay, we need to wrap this up. We really need to wrap this up. So I only want solutions now, please.
I believe that the most important thing is that representation.
Okay, I hope some of the people on the other side talk about a solution other than Christianity. We're talking about an objective human thing that no matter where you stand on the spectrum, whether your ass worship white Jesus, whether your ass worships Muhammad, whether your ass worships Krishna, whether your ass worships Ogun, Olokun, Oshun, Yemiya, all of the damn African spiritual powers. If you honor a damn tree, or if you don't honor nothing, we are all on this planet together. And again, the question was asked, can we coexist without discrimination? And the queer people are saying, yes, we can by this. That is more inclusive. Let's listen, and hopefully we'll hear the opposing side share what they feel like they can do to help.
And positive representation is key, because right now a lot of Kenyans see gay people as people who don't exist within their society, or something that do not deserve to be talked about. But this image that is sold by the media, the church, and whatever other institution exists is an image of people in the LGBTQ plus community that's not even real.
Okay, so positive and honest representation. Some more solutions, please, Po?
My solution is very simple. I think we all exist in a space of curiosity. rather than invest so much in having bias and judgment and expressing that, can we spend more time being curious? I want people to ask me questions about my life, but not in a sexualized way, in a curiosity way, because I want to bring the question of intersectionality like you raise it. We as Kenyans are suffering from hunger, from landlessness, from food insecurity, from like corrupt political leaders, and all of us are impacted by that. The question of LGBTI rights in this country has never been a question because there is the penal code that states we are not supposed to exist freely. The Supreme Court has allowed us to associate so that we are able to educate, so that we're able to move the conversation away from where we are. So I think all of us has a space where we can exist in curiosity. Yeah.
I like that. Thank you. Ngunjiri.
This is my point, that nobody should undergo torture or negative violence and all those kind of things because of what they identify as. However, we must also be careful as a country to protect the future generation, the people who come after us. We need to have offsprings. We need to have a generation.
So again, I don't think these people should be tortured and murdered. It should have just been that. These people do not deserve to be tortured and murdered based off of their sexual orientation. But on the other hand, we want to make sure that our children continue to populate, and if we give these people rights, if we give these people representation that they're asking for, that there is a possibility, even though if that was the case, it would have fucking happened in history before. And if so, if there is instances in history where queer people literal existence destroy an entire fucking nation, and I'm talking about queer people alone, send me that information. So y'all can go up here and still allow the queerphobia, the physical violence to happen, and still find a way to be like, well, I mean, yeah, it sucks, nobody should die, but at the same time, I mean, if you're not contributing to society and you die, I mean, it's not right, but it's okay. Wow.
You're opening a whole new debate.
I mean,
I mean, it's fine, but you know what? It's okay. I appreciate that. That's your viewpoint, and it's very welcome in this debate. Jem, we'd like to finish with words from a pastor.
Yeah, so we need to open up our doors. I don't have a claim on who God saves and who doesn't.
All right.
So if we opened up more spaces for people to talk, you will stop looking at this as a lesbian or a queer. You realize that there's so much more to her. She's a person. She has ambitions. She has needs. She has all these different things.
I like that.
So when you come together, then we are able to get our way forward. Because at the end of it, I can't force my beliefs on you, and I can't force you to, and you can't force your beliefs on me. But we need to be able to coexist.
All right.
As a society.
So, as we conclude, Mary-Lise, I asked the question, is it possible to coexist without discrimination? Very quickly, yes or no after this conversation?
Yes, it is possible.
Okay.
That's an uphill task though, but it is possible.
I like that. I'd like to thank all my guests.
All right, y'all. And that is gonna play the fuck. There we go. And y'all, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, that was tonight's live. I'm glad it was under 3 hours. But yes, you've heard it from the individuals' mouths. Unfortunately, the onslaught still continues. I'm gonna read some of y'all comments real quick before we get up out of here. Let me see. Ron says men make more money than women, unfortunately. And if the household are two men with careers, then chances are economically they are exceptionally doing well. Queen Stevie says they would trigger. Oh, I already read that comment. Let me see. I'm just looking at y'all comments real quick. Let me see. Not the Lord's Day. A nation can rise as high as its women. Let me see. Queen Stevie says, as much as the gays for Trumps try to stomp for Trump, that clown will never see them as his equal. Like, baby, what is you doing? Girl. Notice those was white queers, right? So they got something to protect their whiteness. Girl, they was able to tell them other motherfuckers, girl, get out of here. You're the bitch. You're the bitch. Okay? Now somebody said somebody get Bruce. I'm done with you. I think that's it, y'all. Let me see. Queen Donna says they have to flee from their communities if found out they actually have refugee camps for LGBT family. Watch Rafiki. That's a movie. I'm gonna have to check that out. Let me see. Queen Stevie said Uganda, Kenya, Africa is a dangerous time for queer people over there. Same here in the U.S. Donna says we're protected more here than they are. But at the same time, Ms. Donna, if Trump ass become president, all that protection shit going out the window. They already have a plan to say, look, we already got this person. They're going to root for this person. We're going to sit up here. We're going to root for you to the point to where we're going to ignore 34 counts because we rather your ass, you a necessary evil. So we might as well protect the necessary evil. And there's a possibility that it can happen over here. I mean, it's low key the preemptive part of it, or like the test run is happening in Africa, because again, Africa, especially South Africa, was one of the first nations to legalize same-sex marriage. So if they're saying that the European influence is happening over there, even though they did the shit before America did, I can only imagine what's going to happen here. And we see the temperatures is rising, because at least over there where the murder is still happening and it's death, at least they were still able to have a conversation. Even though it was very telling and people were able to speak, it was more formal than a lot of these red pill panels that I've been a part of that literally have been horrible. Okay? So with that being said, let me change my music up because we done with this dark background music. We done with this shit. Okay? Where we at? Turn this off. Where's the lo-fi? Put this lo-fi shit on back on, bitch. Let me see. Yeah. Here we go. If you can, please make sure you hit that like button. It helps this channel grow in the algorithms. It's something that you can do that is free, 99. Okay, we are at 808 subscribers. We are on the road to 1K. Okay, if you like the vibe over here on BubzDaGawd, please make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with all of my lives and my edited work. If there's anything in this live that I've said that kind of touched your spirit and soul, and you definitely want to share it on your platforms, I ask that you please screen record said segments and go ahead and put them on your social media platforms and tag me in them. I'm BubzDaGawd everywhere. And speaking of BubzDaGawd everywhere, you can definitely be everywhere around the world in my Cash App, $BubzDaGawd. Anything y'all send, I will graciously take. And then on top of that, y'all, it's my birthday month. And yes, I said birthday month. I will be turning 33 on the 22nd of this month. So if you want to bless a leprechaun early for his birthday, I'm with that shit too. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Shout out to Donna B, Queen Donna. Shout out to Queen Stevie. Shout out to King Deshaun. Shout out to Queen Zaya. Shout out to Queen Spicy. Queen Spicy. Shout out to King Ron. Okay. And shout out to everybody in the replay gang. All right. And until next time, everybody, enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday evening. I'll be seeing y'all. Peace.